Hey, and we are live. Welcome to Bout That Life podcast. If you're here and you're checking us out on YouTube, I appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time to come check it out. I appreciate for sure big time the subscribers who've been rocking with me for a while now. If you're here and you're new, do the HBO special, help a brother out. Hit that follow, hit that bell. All notifications and everything will be right there. Got a great guest for you guys today, so please check me out.
From the YBA Phoenix Fitness 24/7 basketball facility in Rockland, California, it's Bout That Life podcast with your host, Coach C. Collins and Coach MJ.
Three, two, one, let's go.
Hey, welcome to About That Life podcast. I'm Coach C. Collins. Coach MJ couldn't be here today, but he's always here in spirit as usual. So again, I got another good show coming for you guys. Got a guest that I've been trying to get on for a while. But before we get to that, let me do my quick shout out to my sponsors. And also, again, if you're checking out out on the audio side, hit that follow, hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you want to check out the YouTube, it's always out there as well. But first, shout out to my first sponsor, Hardwood Palace. If you're looking for AAU tournaments, if you're looking for rec level, AAU level, please go check them out. Tell Grant or Steve, Coach Chris Collins sent you, and they'll hook you up and help you out. And also, shout out to Dr. Dish, best shooting machine on the market. Why? Because they sponsor me, so they're the best shooting machine on the market. So please go ahead if you are looking for a machine for your kid or your program, tell them About That Life podcast sent you, and they will hook you up with a discount. So please go check them out when you get a chance. Now, with all that out the way, let me get to my guest. This brother, I've personally have seen him and watched him from afar for years. When I was a young guy, young coach stepping into AAU, and he's accomplished quite a bit, and I'll let him, give you guys his story. I've researched his story, so we'll get to all that in a second. But he's done a lot to help the women's basketball community, and I'm big on trying to showcase and put more light out there on women's basketball in general, right? Especially, we're kind of in a good renaissance right now with what Angel Reese and the college scene has done for women's basketball. I mean, you got, college girls out there making $1 million now. So, shout out to them and everything they're doing. But a lot of people don't know all the people that put in the work on the grassroots level. They really don't. And, overall, if you've been rocking with me, this is what, episode, I think like 70 now. I've been a big proponent on trying to get the people out there that are doing the work, a voice and some light shined on the work they're doing, right, wrong, or indifferent, whether you like it, hate it, or whatever. These are the people that are helping influence the generation and the next generation and the next generation of basketball. So with all that being said, let me introduce my guest, Sean Chambers. How you doing, brother?
This is good.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
All right.
it. I try.
This is good, man.
So before we get into the AAU side of everything, what I typically try to do, always open the platform up to my guests. You can do a quick summary of who you are, your basketball background, your AAU, all that stuff. Let the guests know who you are. You know what I mean?
Okay. For those who don't know, my name is Sean Chambers. I am a true Sacramento grassroots guy through and through, meaning that I grew up in high school here in Sacramento, went to elementary school, junior high school. My first experience really, when I start thinking about basketball, we used to, my mom, I'll even back up. A little bit of my grassroots. I grew up originally living in Meadowview area. So,
Okay.
the Meadowview area,
Yeah.
the community there is what it is.
Right.
And then by some family situation, we end up moving to Oak Park. So being a kid that had to maneuver going from Meadowview
Right. To Oak
then
Park, yeah.
to Oak Park, that
Right.
was a whole different animal. And when I was in Oak Park, I was a baseball guy. Then you had to learn how to maneuver in Oak Park after living in Meadowview. And then after living in Oak Park for about, I think we were there for 3 to 4 years, family dynamics happened again. And then all of a sudden we're in North Highlands. So now I'm an Oak Park kid
You in all the rough places.
to North Highlands in middle school. So my first touch and love for basketball actually originally started in Oak Park. I was in a middle school out there and I tried out, and I actually did not make the team as a 7th grader, but it's not one of those crazy stories like I got cut. I was an alternate, but the thing was back then we had 7th, 8th, and 9th graders at Peter Lassen Middle School all had to be on the same team. There wasn't a team for 7th and 8th graders and a 9th grade team.
Right.
Back then, 9th graders were still at the middle school. So
Okay.
it wasn't one of those crazy stories like, oh man, I got cut and I was no good. I was just really, it was the numbers game.
Right,
The
right,
9th
right.
graders were really the main guys, and the 8th graders and a few 7th graders. At that time, my mom, we had a set family dynamics. We moved to North Highlands, got the Don Julio Middle School, which is connected to Highlands High School.
Mm-hmm.
Got to Don Julio, literally got there a week before they had their tryouts when we moved in there, and they had a 7th and 8th grade team and a 9th grade team. So I instantly made the team, was solid, great friends. Some of my best friends still today, Mike Bradley, who's assistant coach at Sheldon High School, was on my team, and some other guys like Earl Gamble and some big-time kids that – my middle school team was actually pretty amazing. If you know anybody that's any old heads out there in Sacramento, I had a middle school team of my teammates was a guy named Mark Shelby, went on to play at Cal Poly Star. A guy named Kevin Nixon went on to go play in Utah and be a star. A guy named Mike Fredericks ended up going to Foothill and being a star. Like we had like 6 or 7 guys on that team that ended up being first team all city at different schools on that middle school team.
All on one team.
All on one team. So that was my first experience about basketball, was going up and down Julio. And then Highlands at the time, people don't know this because you don't know anything in history about Sacramento. North Highland was one of the most mecca sports high school in all of the city. In the 80s, it was a monster from every sport you could think of. From football, basketball was a monster. And if you can play basketball at Highlands High School, you had to be legit.
Yeah.
And I mean legit. It was no freshman playing or sophomore playing varsity.
It was just JV and varsity.
JV and varsity.
That's how it was when I was in high school. I grew up in Oakland, but I went to
Yep.
Oakland Tech, and that's exactly how it was.
So, and again, we had 9th grade was at the middle school. And then my first year in high school in the Highlands is when we started moving the 9th graders into the high school, to the high school level.
Mm-hmm.
So my sophomore year, we were down in my start. I was pretty solid. My junior year, I was actually not very contributed to the team.
Okay.
Wasn't a player. So when you think about all the things that kids are going through now with AAU and trying to rush push the needle so fast and get ahead of the game. I'm one of those stories that as a junior in high school, I don't even know if I got off the bench much.
Okay.
Didn't get off the bench much.
All right.
And then going into the summer of my senior year, I don't know what came up. Oh, I know what it was, really was that I thought I was next in line to be a starter, next to be a player on the varsity team, as a senior. But we had like 3 guys that were transferring over from Grant High School.
Okay.
Oh, what happened was we had a school, I don't know if you know this, Norte Del Rio. That was a big time school that was Grant's competitor.
Okay.
It was in the Strawberry Manor side. Well, Norte Del Rio closed, and there was legends like Reggie Rogers and Don Rogers were legends at this school back in those days, and it closed, and those kids
Ended up going to.
some came to Highlands because they had such a nasty rivalry with the Del Paso Heights kids because it was contentious back then. It was two tough neighborhoods. You had Highlands, you had Del Paso Heights, you had Oak Park, and you had the Meadowview area. when we played each other, and even Harm Johnson at that time, when we played each other, it was tough. You had to be, it was on.
Police escort.
Police escort, 100%. Right? Police escort. So when Nordy closed, a lot of those kids, like, I can't go to Grant.
Right.
We was beefing on a regular.
Yeah.
So some of them ended up at Highlands. It wasn't that far away. Well, that summer, I call it like one of the things that in pretty much everything I do in my career outside of basketball, as a coach, as a player, I operated out of the fear of failure. Now, I don't know if that's always positive,
right?
But that really pushed my needle. So I had this fear that a guy was coming over. Everybody knew him. He's a well-known guy. He was coming over to Highlands, and everybody was like, he's probably going to start over you. Well, that summer, working on the fear of failure, I would run up to Highlands High School from my house. I would go to the football field bleachers, and I would run bleachers literally every day by myself, 110 degrees heat. I was like, I'm going to be different than everybody. Go home, and I was doing things out of fear of failure that didn't realize it is now one of the things that we do as training, like what we call ladders.
Yeah.
Well, when I would walk home from the high school, I lived behind railroad tracks. So the way I walk, I would get on the railroad tracks and I would just be hitting every block. Just weird. Just trying to help my walk home be a little bit more entertaining. Little did I know I was working on my quick feet. So I literally did that. I'm not joking. Every day this summer. And then we would play, I don't know, we'd play on the blacktop out there at the Highlands, and then we'll go play we used to have a school called Campus Verde, where North Highlands was well known for. We would open up the gym on Wednesday, and the whole community would come in. And it was the old school stuff where if you won, you stayed on the court.
Right.
If you lost,
you were done.
Done.
Yeah.
So it was dog eat world at Highlands on Saturday mornings and Wednesday nights. Well, I started realizing I was starting to have success against some of the guys I looked up to. Like one of the guys who referee out here named Barron Dixon, John Jordan. I mean, the community was thick. Highlands basketball community was thick. So when I was starting to have success against them, I was like, oh man, wait a minute.
I'm getting pretty good.
I'm getting pretty good. So it drove me more. So, and I'm telling you, Sacramento Heat, every day, June all the way through September, I was at the school by myself. And we don't have it like it is today where the fences are closing the schools.
I know,
You didn't have access.
Yeah.
You can literally go into the football field, run the bowl, and nobody was tripping.
Absolutely.
So come back the next school year. Well, we had we started doing summer league, and I just hit the scene like a monster. Like people were like, what happened? And I don't even know what happened, but I just knew out of fear of failure, I was going harder than everybody else. I didn't have any quit. I wasn't very skilled though. So this is the crazy part. Like right now, I don't know if you know, I think I was ranked in the top 30 of all time the Sacramento greatest players. But even as a high school player, I didn't have skill.
Was it just raw athleticism?
Just raw motor.
All right.
Like I worked out of fear. Like I cannot lose to you on the court, whether it's a jump ball, loose ball, rebound. I don't care who it is. And it was like to the point, like at times my teammates would be upset with me because when they're trying to go easy, there was no easy in me.
So you're like 0 to 100.
Just didn't have 90. I didn't have 85. I didn't have 70. It was 110. And it was really still out of fear of failure.
Okay.
Because I, part of those things, guys who grow up without fathers and father figure in their life, you keep thinking that guy that got an older brother taught him something, or that dad. Now that's all false.
Right.
That's what I grew up with.
But that's what you were thinking, right?
And especially in the communities I grew up with, right? You grew up in Meadowview.
Yeah.
It's all on and popping. You grew up in Oak Park. It's triple popping,
right, right.
And then you make it the Highlands. And then the thing about Highlands was, as tough as the neighborhood it was and still is, back then we had the Air Force bases.
Mm-hmm.
So when you had the Air Force bases, there was a structure that was in place from the base because a lot of the students there, parents were in the military. So you had dads and mom there that had to follow guidelines from the military bases, and then they had stability at home.
Okay.
So that intimidated me a little bit. because I was just with mom and two sisters.
Right.
So like that fear of failure just drove me. And then next thing I know, I am one of the top 5 players in Sacramento. Nice. Our team goes 33-0. We have one of the greatest records in the history in Sacramento. And I'm just a monster. But it's still not like some of the kids we deal with now. I don't know it. I'm not thinking I'm all that. I don't even know what my plan is after high school.
Right.
I'm just in the moment.
That's good.
So my basketball career just took off. But there was no plan afterwards. And then actually a lot of people don't know this. Because of running those bleachers, because running the railroad tracks. Yeah. Running railroad tracks. I think I still do hold the record for Sacramento for high jump.
Oh, wow.
At 7'1" in high school.
Jeez. So
I ended up being a high jumper, and I had 0 skill level.
I was saying no form?
Nope, 0.
Just jump over. I know I had athletes like that at JC.
Yeah,
so I get it.
Yeah, so I had 0 form, zero skill level. My boy Mike Bradley, the assistant coach at Sheldon High School, he was my best friend. He was actually kind of like my pseudo coach.
Yeah.
His coaching style was like, man, you suck. You barely over the bar this high. Like but I jump a bar, let's say 6'6" or 6'5", and he's like, you barely over the bar like this. You terrible. You don't represent Highlands.
He kept challenging you. He kept pushing you. Okay.
And I'm over the bar really this high though.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Man, I felt like I was up there. I felt I was really up there. So I'm like, okay, put the bar at 6'8". Go 6'8". And I was literally back then, it was crazy. I would take like 1, 2, 3 step, jump over the bar. And like, hate to say it, but like all the guys that were out there doing all the traditional tape and ropes, white guys out there like, what is this?
Just running.
And I'm just, boom, and I'm out. So because of that, all that was, again, I was doing jumping just out of fun, and I took 3rd place in the state my senior in high school. Then now going back to basketball, I didn't have a plan. Okay. Like we weren't in the state age, the era we're in now where, okay, what are you going to do? Like, who's getting you recruited? Who's getting your name out there? Mm-hmm. Who's putting game film out there? You know, and we were the best team in the city, one of the top ranked teams in the state of California. The only offers I had coming out of high school was San Francisco State, Chico, and I think maybe Sonoma State. Okay. So what happened was that summer we took my coach Montrose, God rest his soul, he passed away a while back. He took all of us, the Highlands kids, decided like, I'm gonna do something different with this group because they seem to be different. He took us to San Luis Obispo to a Cuesta basketball camp in the summer. We go out there, and basketball is really huge in the Central Coast. I don't know if you know that, but like Mission High School and all that was
absolutely.
St. Joseph's.
Yeah, St. Joseph. Yeah, that's Jason Kidd's school. Yeah, I know.
So it's big. Basketball is big in Central Coast. People don't realize that if you're not there. We go out there to a camp. We literally we sleep in the weight room. So we couldn't do dorms. So our coach take us, like, we got a sleeping bag. We take 7, 8 guys there. We go to this camp, and there's some high major basketball teams there that all meet in the Central Coast at Cuesta College, and we smoke everybody. Nice. And I'm just raising the bar up here, and people are just going wild. My skill level, and again, my motor, my drive. Well, after my senior year in high school, I didn't get recruited by a whole lot, but the coach at Cuesta remembered me. Mm-hmm. And he kept kind of reaching out a little about what my high school coach Montrose, like, if Chambers is not happy with going to San Francisco State or Sonoma State, you know, and he wants to get out of Sacramento, think about coming to Cuesta College.
Nice.
And I remember how beautiful it was. That was the first time kid grew up in Meadowview, Old Park, North Highlands. I've never been to an ocean.
That is funny. Yeah, that's true.
I've never been to an ocean. I've never been out of those communities. Right. And it's like full circle. I'm a school administrator now, and I know my students I deal with, they never make it out of Meadowview. They never make it out of South Sac. This is their world. I was that guy. Mm-hmm. You know, the first time I went to San Luis Obispo and I saw an ocean, I remember still today, it took my breath away.
Yeah.
Like when you go around the Pismo Beach bend, and I was like, what is this?
Exactly. And the culture's different.
And the feel, the vibe, the quietness,
the
smell of the air, you don't hear sirens, you don't hear helicopters.
Right.
It was like, it was different. So when Coach Hansen, he was the head coach at Cuesta College for like 30, 40 years. Old school guy, one of those old school white guys, when all he lived and did was drink and sleep basketball. Got me to come out there. I go out there, and and again, back in the 80s, you thought like when you were leaving North Highlands, Sacramento, going out to San Luis Obispo to go to college, to junior. It was a junior college now, right? Cuesta. You thought like you may not see everybody for the rest of your life. It was such my mom, my sister, we were all crying. Right. I'm like,
you think you really leaving?
You really leaving forever. And so I get to Cuesta, and then I had the rude awakening of like all the things that, although I love my communities, I love where I grew up, I love the foundation that I got from the North Highlands community in Oak Park, all the things that they did not prepare us for, especially for young African-American men.
Yes.
So I get out to Cuesta, and although it was a junior college, we lived in a dormitory complex that was mixed with Cal Poly students. So you do your student orientation, you get there, you're in the dorms, and I'm one of maybe 500 students that is only African-American in the dorm. So I'm like, okay, this is awkward coming from those communities I came from.
Yeah, culture shock.
I get there, we do an orientation, and all the students are talking about what their majors are, what they're going to do in 4 years, and what are their plans after college. And I was never felt so like I didn't fit, out of place, or incompetent in my life to hear people like, I'm going to be a history major. I'm going to be a computer technology.
And you're just trying to figure out like,
I'm going to be a civil engineer.
Right.
And I'm like, what the hell is that? And I'm in the back of the room like, don't come to me. Don't come to me, right? And I was like, they coming to me. I'm like, I'm social science.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? I'm going to do social science. I don't know. That's what they told me. So
all right,
get there. So then I remember just feeling so like, wow, I have no clue. And these guys got a plan in 4 years. And I still was, thing that still stick with me today. Like, I'm in my late 50s now, and it was like, this guy's going to be a civil engineer, and I have no idea what that means.
Right.
I have no idea what that means, and I still just shook me in when I was back then in the dorms. Well, obviously, it took a while for me to get adjusted there. It took a while for me to be like the first African-American friend of a lot of students there.
Yeah.
And we still have that here.
Yeah.
Like, so I remember there were kids that were from Oak Ridge High School. I'm like, yeah, or El Camino. I'm like, man, I know where El Camino is.
Right.
Oh, no, we didn't have black kids there.
No.
Like Rio Americano, Sacramento.
Didn't.
We don't have black kids there.
Right.
Jesuit. We maybe had 3 or 4 that were athletes, but for the most part, a lot of those kids never had black friends. So that was shocking me because Oak Park, sure, we were all black community. Not a lot of white kids. North Highlands, we were a melting pot because of the Air Force Base.
Yep.
So it was a mix of everything. So jump forward, get to Cuesta, and I was homesick for the first couple weeks, month, and then I just started finding my niche. All my roommates I had 4 roommates. They were all white guys, all from like Santa Rosa, Sonoma, and they were just different, but none of them were athletes. So things were rough at first because I was just trying to find my niche there.
Yeah.
But what I did, again, the fear of failure, what I did not want to do, what happened to a lot of kids in Sacramento and Oak Park, they came back home.
Exactly.
They came back home.
That happens in the Bay. It's just part of our culture. I hate to
part
say
of our culture.
Yeah.
You feel like if you're FOMO, they feel you're missing out. What's going on?
Yeah.
And I was like, as much as I wanted to go home, I'm like, I cannot do it. I must stick this out. So finally, basketball training started happening at Cuesta, and then you got to really get after it.
Right.
So people were just, minds were blown because what I was able to do I was a small forward. I was playing like the forward position in high school. You know, you're a 6'2" athlete. Right. That's what you do in high school. I got to Cuesta, and I was able to start branching out my game. Like, I want to be a guard.
Right.
I want to be able to handle the ball and mix it up. Now, I still couldn't shoot the ball for a lick, but I can score.
Right.
So I had the ability to score off the dribble. I had the ability to score like mid-range, short-range, whatever have you not. So because I was at Cuesta, they knew of me, but they didn't know me.
Right.
I didn't have to be stuck in this box, like, because there were schools like AR, Sac City. Mm-hmm. They were trying to get me to stay home and stay here. But I remember guys being stuck in the box because that's what they did in high school. That's what they're going to do with you here. Right. So I'm not doing that. So I got out there, and I literally have to every day fear of failure. I got crazy story, man. I mean, you talk about About That Life. Like literally, I was built different, man. You know, I was different.
Trust me, I've researched and I've heard.
I was different. So you got the training. I got all these guys from all these different schools, and as you know, like junior college kind of can be tricky. Junior college tries to play your sophomores first and let the freshmen develop so they can keep that pipeline. So you keep your numbers.
Right.
And I was like, I got to start.
Okay. That's good.
I don't know
mentality to have.
I don't know how it's going to happen. Right. There's 7 to 8 sophomores that came back from last year's team that was pretty good at Cuesta. But I got to start, man. Right. I don't know. I cannot sit the bench. I got this field fairy not starting. So I was literally probably one of the most liked teammates on that team and the most hated on that team.
Okay, I can see that.
The most hated. We do sprints drill. I had to win every one of them. We do whatever kind of drill it was in practice. I had to be first in all of them. When we scrimmage, I was like, we had to win every scrimmage. The freshman team. You had a freshman team. You had a sophomore team. You had a mixed team. We doing 3-on-3. I had to win all of them. And I mean all of them.
But you basically put the pressure on your coaches to where they couldn't deny how good you are. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I try to preach to my kids. Put the pressure on your coach. Don't give them a reason. Make them have to look at your game and go, you know what? This kid's pretty damn good. I might have to put them out there. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I always try to tell my boys.
So that basically what happened. We have this thing too called the tower in Cuesta. It's a mountain that you run straight up, and it's about you go like 100 yards up in it on a straight hill, and it literally makes half the team quit in the first week of school. It really does. It's kind of a method for him to like, okay, junior college, I got 30 guys out here. I got to get some guys that really want to be here or not. Yeah. And we time it, and we had a guy named Brock Aarons, white guy, was out of Los Gatos. He was a monster. He would run it up at like a minute. Okay, shit. I got to get up there in a minute. I got to get up there in 58 seconds. He get up there the next time in 56 seconds. Okay. I got to be at there 54 seconds.
Right.
And I didn't make it. I'm going back now. I'm doing it again.
Right.
And the rest of the guys in Cuesta was like.
They probably looking at you two like, damn it, would y'all stop?
This dude is. They really thought I was crazy. Like, he's crazy. And I was like. Again, I was a different kid because I'm a good kid. I'm a mama's boy. I was growing up in the church my whole life. I went to church 4 times a week growing up as a kid. That's a whole nother story. But the one thing I could not beat him was we would do like 3-mile runs. And he had one of those old school and I'm out full and could never beat this guy.
Right.
To today, that bugs the hell out of me. Bugs the hell out of me. Now, he couldn't play like me, but that bugged me forever. Right. But now, going back to Cuesta, as my experience going, the basketball season started going right before the season started, I probably literally had almost a physical fight with every guy on my team because sophomores.
Yeah.
So what happened was I was with the freshman team, and I wanted to keep showing the sophomore, like, I need to start. I don't care what position it was. The coach had his son on the team. He was the point guard. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Today, Aaron Hansen is going to get it. And I'm playing in full court on my own. Like, we're supposed to be playing half-court defense. Right. No, I'm picking up full court. I'm ripping, I'm dunking, I'm slamming. I'm just all over the place. Aaron, he was a shooter. He can't shoot today. Aaron ain't going to shoot today. So get it for. And also, I'm facilitating being the point guard.
I love it.
So we went, okay?
Yeah.
I started at the point guard. Okay, Chico Rivera, you're the 2 guard. Today, I'm going to be the 2 guard. Today, Chico Rivera, you are about to get it.
Right.
Now, Chico had a little pushback. Hardcore Mexican from
Right.
Santa Maria. He didn't play.
Yeah.
Him and I went to blows. But, Chico, you got the business today, though. Okay, I'm not starting. Mike Moeller, you're the 3-man. Today's your day. And I went down the list from Mike Moeller, Brian Brackens, and Greg Garcia. Those are that's funny. I can remember these names right now. These are my teammates.
You sound like Kobe when he said he had his hit list. Remember when he was talking to that?
Absolutely.
He was like, I have my hit list.
Absolutely.
These were the top 30 guys, and I scouted them out and knew what that sounds. So you did.
Those were the starters, and I went through, okay, today I'm going to be the 5-man now. Greg, you about to get it. So I went through every starting 5 for a week, and I wasn't starting. I was like, okay, y'all tripping. So I would coach, and coach was trying to like, well, this is funny because my coach used to pick me up every day for school from the dorm. He would get me riding, get me riding home, and he was like, Sean, you're going to get there. You just got to be patient. And I'm like, Coach, what do I got to do, man? Season's around the corner.
Right.
And then I remember the last scrimmage before we start season, we have a scrimmage, and it's all the sophomore games against the freshmen, and we just put on a show. And I'm just leading, and I'm telling guys what to do, and I'm motivating them. Not only that, I'm empowering my teammates. I'm letting them know, like, you can make this shot. You can do that. And when they missed it, I was cleaning it up for them.
Right.
When we beat the sophomores, and then it would turn into a nasty brawl because we're up by 10 with 2 minutes left. Stall. I'm stalling. The coach is like, what is this guy doing? I'm like, stall. 4 quarters. I'm setting up, and the sophomores are like, what? He can't do that? I'm like, why not? Chico and I get into a fight after we stall, and I'm yelling, run out the gym like we won a national championship. And literally after that practice, Coach Hansen brings us all together and like, okay, guys, I know
what I've been dealing with.
you guys know, the tradition, but
Sean's out here killing.
He's different. He works different. And we went on and had the best record in the history of Cuesta College. We went 27-3 or something like that. I was first team All-State, league MVP as a freshman. Never happened before. Having the time of my life, and San Luis Obispo community accepted me like a firestorm. Like people coming to the Cuesta games like they never had before. And it was just an amazing place to start growing up, starting to, as a young man growing up, and then, and then enjoying college life. As you start to become an athlete and a successful athlete, doors open.
Of course. And
my best friend today, Thomas Keelan, was my roommate, and we just became like brothers here. And so my sophomore year, I lead the state in California in scoring, like second or third in rebounding. I'm averaging something like 26, 27 points a game as a sophomore in Cuesta College. I never thought about leaving my freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
My goal was to go back. What I ended up doing was some of my boys that were at San Juan High School, some of them were at Highlands, and one of the guys from Cordova. I ended up getting them to come down.
Nice.
We had about maybe 20 kids from North Highlands community to come down to Cuesta College the next year.
That's cool.
That just opened up their world. Like, man, this is
But you opened that door.
Opened the door to 20 different kids from the North Highlands community that ended up coming to San Luis Obispo because I opened up that door, and they were like, wow, they saw my success. They saw what was going on, and
that's gotta be good
and how the community accepted us. And it was just, these guys' lives were changed because of that.
Mm-hmm.
So after maybe halfway through my sophomore year at Cuesta, I'm on every parade, all this just blowing up. And I don't really have a jump shot. Don't.
Okay.
Don't have a jump shot. I can score by a lot of different ways, but I didn't have a jump shot. Never shot the ball out of maybe 15, 20 feet from the basket. Okay. Never. I had Loyola Marymount come see me play at a tournament at Chabot College, and I dropped like 38, just on fire. And they were like, literally, this is how I was back then. And I thought this was still a joke. Coach comes up to me, goes, hey, read this. So I'm starting reading the program.
Yeah.
He said, okay. I read like the first 4 lines. And then like, I don't know what it was, but I just read it. Like first 4 lines. Okay, you can read. We want to offer you a scholarship at Loyola Marymount.
All right. I'll take that.
Bar was love. This is a true story. So I'm getting recruited UNLV, Fresno State, Sam Houston State, Houston, Texas Christian. These are all the schools that are recruiting me out of JC. I go visit Loyola Marymount after because they were the first one to offer me. And that was the kind of dude I was. It was like the first one to show me love. They're kind of loyal to me, so I'm showing that same loyalty back. I'm still that person.
Yeah.
I'm strong in loyalty. Well, I told everybody no. Like, if you think of the team at UNLV back then when they had Stacey Augman and Greg Anthony, that was their run. That was the time I would have been there. I committed to Loyola Marymount. As I committed to them, right after basketball season ended, the coach got fired.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sitting there like, oh man, what am I gotta readjust? So a couple teams came back into the picture, but my love for San Luis Obispo, Cal Poly coach came to me. The Cal Poly community starts reaching out to me and asking me to stay. There was actually a petition they did on a farmer's market, had people sign a letter, stay and play at Cal Poly.
All right. That where you end up going?
A week later, I'm at Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo.
Right.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Good.
Yeah. So career starts at Cal Poly. That's a whole crazy story. I got all these crazy stories about going to Cal Poly. After I committed, I was kind of like worried because I was like, again, fear of failure drove me. Like I was fearful that I wasn't going to have the same success at Cal Poly that I had at Cuesta. So I was doing my same routine. I'm getting up in the morning, getting to the football field. I'm running the bleachers. I'm still in San Luis Obispo, so I can still go run the tower. So this tower became kind of a, how do I say? When I knew I was ready to get after it, I knew my mind, heart, body, and soul was ready to give 110%. I would go run this tower. And this tower, because it just challenged your manhood, your desire, and I would go do it on my own.
Okay.
Like, and matter of fact, like a couple of years ago, I drove back out to San Luis Obispo and I drove up to the tower, walked it. I didn't run it now. I ain't running it anymore. I walked it, took pictures from the top.
Right.
Like this was my.
Sounds like it was a representation of your drive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of your motivation to,
yeah.
Like you said, you don't want to fail.
Yeah. So if you can run it and gut it out and make it out without stopping, you was different. So first year at Cal Poly, first couple of games, I don't even score a bucket. Don't even score. The whole community's like, what did we get here? I had this story about a wrestler. He came to me before the season started, was like, hey, tell me about this Sean Chambers guy. And he's talking to me. And I'm like, oh, he's okay. Yeah. He was like, yeah, no, I heard he's an All-American and he's all this. And we always get these basketball guys supposed to be stars and they never pan out. And I was like,
damn. No pressure.
He okay. And he was like, yeah, I hope he pans out. Like, yeah, me too. So first couple games, I don't score a bucket. Next game, I don't score a bucket. We're in an exhibition game. We're playing against each other. I don't score a bucket. Had a situation where my mind is spinning, trying to get it head right. And I had a class on a Thursday night, and we had a game. I remember the game, too. We were playing against Cal State Hayward. The professor was the women's basketball coach, but her and our head coach had beef. So she wouldn't let us out of the class or we would fail the class. It was a night class.
Oh, man.
So we had to do this presentation. After the presentation was over, run across the campus. I don't know if you've ever been to San Luis Obispo.
Yeah, I have.
Okay, so our campus is like this. There's a hill on top of a hill and up and down valleys. We're way over, we call it the swine unit, where all the pigs and cows are at. We're at over there. Me, a couple of teammates were in the class. We get out and we're flying, dude. We're flying across the campus, get to the gym, game's going on. It's almost halftime. We had threw our uniforms under our clothes already, so we just strip it as we run it. Get to the game, coach like, chill out. Y'all play the second half. Get in the second half, I think I dropped like 26 in the second half.
Nice.
After that, I was just on fire.
Good.
No jump shot, no handles, just pure desire. We ended up making it to the NCAA tournament. I ended up being the first basketball All-American at Cal Poly, league MVP, broke major records at Cal Poly in Cal Poly's history. Still the only basketball All-American in the history of the school. Still the only 2 times back-to-back league MVP. Which back then we were Division II, but it's funny because all the teams that are in the same conference today, Cal State Bakersfield, Cal Poly, Riverside, Irvine, they're all D1. It was our same league, Northridge.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That was our league, and it was a monster. Only team that didn't go D1 was Cal State LA and Cal State Dominguez Hills, but it was a monster back then. So next year, same thing. League MVP took off. So just like my high school career, I didn't have a plan. What am I going to do after season's over with? And I would have several older players would come and tell me, like, you're going to play overseas. I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Because there was a dude named Kevin Lucas that was off the hook. And Kevin probably, I'll get the copy of this and I'll send it to him. But Kevin Lucas is one of the baddest dudes I've ever played with and against. He was at Cal Poly 3 years before me. He wasn't overseas. There was a guy named James Blevins. Dude was phenomenal shooter. Like, I've always, if you watch the way I coach, as we'll get into AU scene.
Yeah.
My team shoot a ton of threes. I'm infatuated with shooters.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in love with the idea of shooting three. Like, my whole makeup going to a game, going to practice is I want 3-point shooters because I didn't do it.
Right.
And I didn't have anybody pushing that envelope with me because it's an acquired skill.
Yeah, it is.
All you have to do is repetition, repetition, repetition.
We're in the 3-point renaissance. That's what I call it anyway, because
100.
The Steph Curry effect. We're in the 3-point renaissance, and you can. I tell these kids, like, you guys are very much in a. If you can shoot, you're in the right era of basketball right now.
Right now, but how many? I hate to say it, but how many brothers like careers got stifled because we were jumping out the gym, dunking, and trying to be like Dr. J.
Yeah,
but we didn't have nobody going. Hold up.
Work on this skill.
Work on this skill and jump out the gym. Mm-hmm. Now you're Dominique Wilkins. You can play at the next level.
Right.
There was a lot of guys in our area that got stuck into, like, I just want to dunk on a fool. Mm-hmm. I just want to slam on somebody's neck. And although that was amazing,
you don't realize athleticism. It fades.
It fades. It fades. But in all reality, as much as we go crazy for a dunk in a high school game, and you go watch the high school game, or even at the university level, you're talking about maybe 4 or 5 a game, if possible. Yeah. That's high. Yeah, that's a high number.
Right.
But I can shoot a jump shot all day long if you work at it.
Exactly.
Right. So a lot of our games got stifled that way. So James Blevin had an amazing jump shot. Derek Roberts can jump out the gym. These are Cal Poly guys before me. And these are guys that I saw.
Right.
Right. And I was like, they didn't go overseas. They never made it overseas. And so I never thought that was next for me. What happened was after my senior year at Cal Poly, I get a call to go try out for this thing called IBA All-Stars. And what it was they were trying to start this 6'4" and under league back in the day. And because of my success, league MVP, All-American, preseason All-American, I got invited to try out for it. So I go to LA, and it's a madhouse. It's an absolute madhouse, like 300 guys in this gym, 300 guys at a tryout. Damn. 300 guys. And it did, like, when I think about it, it didn't even make sense right now. Like, how do we got 300 guys in the gym, and how are you going to evaluate 300 guys in the gym? And how they split it up. I can't remember what gym we were, but we were in the heart of LA, and I'm San Luis Obispo dude. So one thing San Luis Obispo took from me a little bit was, like, people knew Oak Park, people knew Meadowview, people knew Laurel Highland. Now I'm in San Luis Obispo. The most whitest community, the most kindest, loving people in the world.
And then now you coming in
slow. We call it slow for a reason because everything is slow.
Right.
Yeah. People ain't pushing buttons too much. No. You know, I was different. That's why people looked at me crazy because I was coming in like, by all means necessary, you all going to get it. And that made people love me there, but I was still a nice kid.
Right.
So I get to this camp at LA, and people kind of knew the name because of the success. And it was just one of those things, like, it really like your journey when you start to play overseas, and you know this, like it's really sometimes it's just by luck.
Yes.
It's sometimes it's just by the break of the games. And I go out there, and again, I was different, but I just had one of those amazing days where I was actually making 3-point shots. I was doing the typical Sean Chambers stuff, the dunking, the flying, and the high motor, and it just got me the first round cut. So I made it to the cut. Then we had a final cut at like for Fresno, another 30 guys there, and again, it was not one of those luck of the draw where everything just fell into place. So I made the final cut, and so what happened was we took these 15 guys called the IBA All-Stars, and we went to Hong Kong, Japan, Korea, then Philippines. Didn't know anything about these, right? The only further thing I have done now at this point, not only being out of Sacramento, I only knew San Luis Obispo and then the teams that were in our league. So I still haven't really left the state of California.
Right.
Never.
Now you're leaving the country.
Leaving the country. So get to Japan, like, wow, amazing. Never in my wildest dream, a kid from North Highlands in Oak Park, think I'm going to be in Japan. Amazing. Crazy. 3 days later, we're in Seoul, Korea, right before the Seoul, Korea Olympics back in '88. And amazing. And we actually, kind of funny though, we actually stayed in the YMCA like dormitories. It was kind of wild, but it was cool though.
Yeah.
We didn't mind it. It was cool because it was such a great experience. We got to experience the Korean basketball culture, and they were really like the game, but there was kind of a different vibe to it. Then 2 days later, we're in Manila, Philippines. Never in my wildest dream have I ever thought about being in Manila, Philippines, or even visiting the country of the Philippines, or even how to get there.
Right.
So we get to the Philippines, and it's just a basketball madhouse.
And speaking on that, just because I'm thinking about it, I'm just writing the question down because you said that. Like, the Philippines, they love basketball. They love it. And
it's a religion.
Because I've had so many of my friends that, you know, that I grew up with play out there and things like that. So kind of your perspective watching how the overseas game has evolved, you know, that what's your take on that? I mean, is it just, you know, do you think it's just kind of the love of the sport, a combination of, you know, just something universal about it? Like, why do you think the Philippines, why did basketball just gravitate to them so much?
I'm going to first and foremost say there's such an admiration for the African-American community by the Filipinos.
Okay.
Hands down.
Cool.
And then when you start looking at sports and the way and the style we play the game, you turn on the TV and watch a Filipino game, it is a absolute mimic of the African-American style play a game.
Okay.
They have a love for our music, our culture, our dance, and the way that when our people are right, when our people respect our elders and our people, the way we used to grow up like, that is the Philippine culture. There's such a hierarchy and respect for everybody in the family. So, you know, back when we had the big mamas and grandma and we all had all that, they love that.
All right. Makes sense.
They love that. And I can speak on that for factual because I am truly part of the Filipino culture as well now.
Right.
You know, I've been there since I was 24, so that's over half my life.
Yeah.
So they love the game of basketball. Now, also like them, we grew up with not having a lot.
Right.
It's the cheapest sport to play.
Yes.
You just need a basketball and a hoop.
Yeah. Outside of like soccer, right?
Yeah.
it's the next cheapest sport to play.
Yeah. No, outside of soccer, but then when you're talking about a country that's overly populated and there's not a lot of room for soccer fields and things like that, but you can throw up a basketball court like in a parking lot.
Right.
You can throw up a basketball court like in a alleyway.
Yeah, you're right.
And you go to Manila, there's a basketball court on the parking lots, the alleyway, the driveway, the middle of the street, the corners, the barangays. Like, there is a basketball haven there, and you don't mess with it. And I'm sure you saw, like, when Kobe passed away, there was the big mural of the Kobe basketball court that was in the middle of one of the toughest neighborhoods of all the Philippines.
Yeah, I saw that.
You do not walk in that court and touch that court without respect. That's how they get down.
I like that.
So I get to the Philippines, and I'm playing with the IB All-Star, having some success. And the other part about it, it's such a, back then when I was there, it was a truly, truly a third world country.
Yeah.
Extremely poor country, and the haves had all of it. The rich had all the country. But the working people work hard.
Yeah.
I mean, they work hard. That's all my game was. So my fact that I was a hard worker,
right,
and the way that I
it
played,
just helped you.
It was just, it resonated with them. I wasn't very egotistical. I didn't do all the fancy stuff. I didn't do the soft stuff. I didn't just sit down and shoot jump shots. Like, I'm like the Dennis Rodman version of the Philippines. Although they call me the Michael Jordan. I didn't have Michael Jordan skills. They call me the Michael Jordan of the Philippines, but I was in the bleachers. I'm in the stands.
Right.
And the unique part about my career in the Philippines was that, again, I grew up in Oak Park. I grew up a poor kid. Right? I grew up in Oak Park, man. I grew up as a single mom, raised all of us. I would go sit up in the bleachers with the regular people.
Right.
Here's everybody on the floor. When I'm out there just watching a game or scouting the game, I will go sit up in the top bleachers with the regular folks, and that made them lose their mind. But they didn't understand. I felt most comfortable with people that had some kind of a struggle.
Right.
The people sitting on the floor, the people that own all the businesses and all the rich people in the Philippines, I've learned how to mingle with them. I learned how to get there eventually, but
you feel at home with the
But that my status or my celebrity status in the Philippines was because I was the guy that would go sit up in the top bleachers and watch a game with the regular folks, and they would just like lose their mind. Like, how is this happening? They would lose their happening. So I get there, and you probably don't know a guy named Billy Ray Bates. So when I got there in the late 80s, Billy Ray Bates was literally called the Black Superman. You should look it up. It's wild. Billy Ray Bates was an NBA guy with the Portland Trail Blazers, got himself in trouble with drugs, and go over Manila, and he's just a fan sensation because he was such a flamboyant player.
What's his name again?
Billy Ray Bates.
Okay.
Legend. And he was a legend in the NBA. And I forget one of the playoff series with the Portland Trail Blazers, he ended up coming like out of the CBA or something like that, being their best player with Bill Walton and them. He was a monster.
Nice.
He was a man-child, but he couldn't keep himself clean. So he's such a legend in the Philippines. Where my first claim to fame in the Philippines, there was a thing, the dunk contest. So Billy is a legend in the Philippines. They called him the Black Superman. I'm starting to get a little bit of my North Highland roots back. I don't care about no Black Superman. What are you talking about, man? I'm 6'2", and I'm jumping from the free throw line.
Right.
I ain't scared of nobody. And I'm being a little bit brash, and it got wind by it because little did I know, I'm having this conversation with friends, and people keep asking me, what do you, like the Filipinos, not my teammates that I played with. It was a great group of guys I went over there with. But the Filipinos were like, what are you going to do? It's the Black Superman.
You're like, I'm going to play this motherfucker. I don't care.
The Black Superman. You got to play that. What are you going to do? And I'm like, the Black Superman. I got kryptonite in my pocket. I don't know what a black kryptonite is, but I got some chicken wings or something in my pocket. I ain't worried about no Black Superman.
Exactly.
So I get to the arena for the final dunk contest.
Yeah.
Never met the guy yet. Never seen him, brother. I'm there warming up. I'm there. We did the dunk contest at a place called the Ultra. Standing room only. Philippine, again, when you learn about Philippine culture, we can talk about that, man. It's nuts. Standing room only, can't even get in the gym. It's people everywhere, wall on top of each other. And it's all the celebrities are there. They're celebrities. They're big time people. Right. All the politicians, all the big who's who of the Philippines. Yeah. This man walks in the gym with a cape on, with a Superman boom on his chest. This is also on YouTube. Sean Chambers dunk contest. You can look it up.
All right.
Billy Ray Bates walks in with a cape. The whole arena erupts.
What are you thinking in that moment?
I'm like, what the hell is going on here? You got, like, this is insanity.
Right.
And then at first thing you think, like, okay, because I think when we won, I won $25,000. Nice. Back then, that was nice, right?
Yeah.
He walks in, the crowd stands up, goes crazy. Like the whole, and people still talk to this day, going down. This dude do a random dunk, get 50. I'm flying over 3 dives, get 50. I'm doing a 360 jumping over people before we were jumping over people. 50 points. He does a basic dunk, 50. I'm like, wait. Anyway, and I'm doing just these insane dunks that I've never really done in my life.
Right.
This is funny. I think his brother passed away, actually. It's kind of sad. We had a guy on my team named Billy Ray Crockett. He was a little point guard from Texas or something like that. He was a stud baller. Like, he was one of those just kind of like Rondo.
Yeah,
He was like that. He didn't score a lot, but he was just facilitating. So you just keep running, he's going to find you. So he was making me look good out there.
Right.
So I was going to him, what do we do now, man? What do we do? So he was coming up with all the ideas. I ended up giving the guy $5,000 for it.
That's nice. That's what's up. But
he was coming up like, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's do this. You should Google it. You can find the dunks. And he's sitting on one of the guys' back, like over there, and I jump over, boom, pow, 50. Billy Ray base. So we go 50, go into our fourth dunk, die off. I had to do like I said, when I jump from the free throw line, jump over these two guys, boom, get 50. He goes, does a random dunk, misses it. He misses his dunk. So I win the dunk contest. Instantly, I became one of the biggest stars in the Philippines.
Did Billy talk to you afterward? Did
No,
you guys said it?
No, but that's a funny story. That's a funny story because about last time I was in the Philippines, not 2019 before COVID hit, I think it's 2017.
Yeah.
I was flying back and he's actually in the airport when I was leaving.
Oh, wow.
And I saw him. He don't recognize me, but I'm going to my soul. I'm going, I know that's him. I know that's him. And I go say, hey, brother. I go, are you Billy Ray Bass? And he goes, yeah. I go, I don't know if you remember me. I'm Sean Chambers. He goes, you stole my money. I stole your money. Brother, you shouldn't have never got a 50 on that one dunk. You shouldn't have got a point.
That's funny, man.
He was like, but he remembered it. But the sad part about it, though, for Billy was they gave him a chance to come back to the Philippines to try to help him get his life back together.
Yeah.
He got in trouble over there, did some nonsense, got himself caught up. So he was actually at that point getting deported out of the country. And I was just coming back working with my team. So that's another story. So the team that I played for, Alaska Aces, they continued to show me an amazing, incredible love after my retirement and had me keep coming back and being a consultant for the team. Kept me on the payroll. Make sure I stayed connected. Make sure my family was connected with the team and the team owner. Just 3 weeks ago, we were at the USC game. My team owner, Mr. Wilfred Uitensu, is an amazing guy, amazing family guy. He still allows my family to go see a football game. If you follow me on social media, we were at the USC game. My son got to hang out with Vanessa Bryant.
Nice.
And that's my team owner, and he owns this huge box at the USC, and he every year go catch the game. So that was the love. So they were trying to give Billy a chance to get his life back together over there, and so he was getting deported. So after the dunk contest, trying to get forward to my career in the Philippines, the next day I go out in the street, meet Billy Ray. We walk around. We can't wait to get our money.
Of course, yeah.
What am I, 21 years old? I'm about to get 25 G in my pocket out of college. I've been a college kid my whole life. I'm about to, man, where do we sign this check? Because it was in peso. We're trying to get, I got a big old check. So we're walking the neighborhood, and the first time I realized the craziness, again, of Filipino basketball, we were at the Ultra. It was fine. That's where the fans are. We go to a little neighborhood 7-Eleven and Dunkin' Donuts. We go there, and it's around the corner from the hotel. It took about maybe 3 or 4 kids, little street kids, recognize us. We go in the store. We come back out the store. The whole neighborhood's outside. It's about 1,000 people, and I kid you not, 1,000 people in the street because everybody watches the games.
Yeah.
Everybody watches the dunk contest. Everybody has if they're not at the game, they're watching the game.
Right.
When I was playing my career in the Philippines, I believe they said like the viewing TV audience of every game was about 80 to 90% of the TV audience.
Wow.
If you were not at the game, you were watching the game. So when this happened, when I beat Billy Ray Bass, the level of stardom just went like that, like fire. So I'm walking out we're trying to make our way through the hotel, and it's, not crazy, but the crowd.
Well, of course, they all want to say what's up. And you're right. Yeah,
Screaming,
exactly.
oh
Yeah.
You beat the Black Superman. I'm like, yeah, I told you I had chicken in my pocket. Man. I got kryptonite.
Exactly.
No,
yeah,
but,
now they all want to say what's up to you.
oh, it was wild. So then at that moment, from that point on, I could no longer be reckless and go certain parts of Manila without being prepared.
Right.
That moment on, like it was bonkers. So that was the first stardom I've ever experienced in my life. And it was like rock star status. Come home, not quite getting offered a contract to go to the PBA, to the Philippines yet. I'm kind of in that gap year trying to figure it out. I'm playing with a couple little men's leagues teams, how we do with those tour teams, trying to figure out how to get last
keep yourself in shape and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yep. I get invited to go out to, of all things, Charlotte Hornets rookie camp, see if I can make a roster spot. The guy, agent I was working with, get me out there. I go out there. First time I went out there not working out of fear of failure, because I already did the All-Star thing. Right?
Yeah.
We traveled, and I made that. I was cool. I went out there just complete disbelief. I'm supposed to be in this arena. I'm not an NBA guy. I'm not a guy that can shoot. I'm with all these guys that were from University of Indiana, North Carolina, Kelly Tripucka, J.R. Reed, the guys I've been watching on TV. I'm like,
you're right next to him. Like, damn. Okay.
It was like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, this is wild.
Right.
Because back then when Charlotte, I would think it was the 2 years before that when Charlotte Hornets first came in organization. Mm-hmm. And what they had was an expansion draft. So, you might remember Robert Reed, but Kelly Tripucka, J.R. Reed was at North Carolina. Mm-hmm. These guys were like guys I was watching. I was like, oh. Ugh.
Now you're in the gym with them.
Gym. I lasted a day and a half. Day and a half.
At least you could say you got the opportunity, because a lot of people don't even get that.
Got the opportunity. I would last a day and a half.
Right.
I was on the flight back home. Get back home. I'm flying into LAX. So I'm actually going back to San Luis Obispo. Get to LAX, get off the airplane. No cell phones back then. White courtesy phone, that old school, what you watch in the movies. Like you're getting called a white courtesy phone. The first thing you think about is like family, something happened, drama. This is weird. Pick up the phone. Representation from the Philippines. Want to know, hey, there's this team called Alaska Milk that wants you to come to the Philippines. And I'm like, you and everybody else that I've ever talked about me and my career in the Philippines, I'm like, the state of Alaska? No, Alaska Milk, team in the Philippines, they want you to come over and take a guy's place. The American over there's not doing well. That's what happens right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they get rid of you if you're not performing.
Carl Lott. Guy name was Carl Lott. We got a guy over here named Carl Lott. He's out of Sam Houston or Texas A&M. I forget where he was. He's over here. He can't perform. He's kind of soft. We want to. Can you come over? I'm like, when? They said tomorrow at 9 p.m. From where? Right here at LAX. Okay. How much? We're gonna give you $7,500 a month. I'm in college.
Yeah. I'll take that.
Yes and yes. I'm like, let's go. I'm like, call my mom. Said, hey, this team from the Philippines. Now my mom has never been out, from Louisiana to California. She ain't never been out of the state.
Right.
Now she's off the hook. My mother, she don't stop at 80. She just got back from Jamaica.
Gotta love it.
Called her, told her, like, look, this team wants me to go. I'm heading over. I'm supposed to be there for 2 months. It was like, actually what happened, I got there. I think it was like the second conference was like March to like, I don't know, June. So I go over there. They made it was just crazy now to think about it. I get there, I get off the airplane, 14-hour flight. They make me practice with the guy. So he was still there.
Okay. So
we practiced with the guy and just got off the airplane. And again, one thing, let me back up a little bit. So as I'm flying from Charlotte, I felt completely like a failure because I felt like I let family down. I had an opportunity, and never once did I believe that I belong in that atmosphere. Okay? So you follow. So I'll go back to a little bit about my fear of failure when I was playing at Cal Poly. So when I was doing my Cal Poly career, I used to, every game, I get myself worked up like I was gonna fail. And then I would kind of meditate. really kind of like have like a little prayer with myself in the locker room. And then someone would just say, just believe. Just believe you worked so hard to be in this place, so just believe you belong. Okay, so now I'm going to fast forward back. So every game at Cal Poly, when it came to game time, I would just be like when we talk about being in a zone, like I was in a zone my whole career, my junior year. Like I would just be in the game. It was just like everything was in slow motion. Right. I just believe I belonged here now. I believe like everything I did, I was outworking everybody else. Couldn't shoot like everybody else. Couldn't work handle like that, but just believe I belong in this field. Now, backtrack again, go Charlotte. I never thought I belonged in the arena. So I'm upset on a plane flying home. And I'll go, no matter where God places me at again, if I get the opportunity to play, I'm never going to feel like I don't belong in this. Belong. Yeah. Just believe. Just believe. Flying 14 hours to the Philippines, and I kept going, just believe this is where you're supposed to be. Just believe this is where you're supposed to be. Okay? Go, get there. I practice with Carl a lot, and I'm just Sean Chambers style, like flying, crazy, dunking, having a great day. I'm actually shooting the ball great this day. I'm making great shots. I'm just putting on a show. Hands down, every teammate on that court that day, general manager's coach was like, this guy is amazing. Carl was on the plane the next day.
That's how it works. That's how it works.
Carl was on the plane the next day.
Yeah.
We were in last place. We go on a run, something like, there's only 8 games in the league at that time. So we go on a run, so like we win like maybe 6 out of the next 8 games. And we make it to the playoffs, which we weren't supposed to make it at that point. Instant love for my teammates, instant love with my organization. They just loved my work ethic, my energy. And again, I was still a good kid because of the way my mother raised me. So I was always very respectful to the elders, respectful to my owners, always gave gratitude to the people I was with. And I was a kind of a ground kind of a guy. I was never above the people. Well, that was the first conference. And so because of that, they said, okay, we're going to bring you back in August to the next one called the third conference. So we have 2 conferences in the Philippines where there's Americans. One right now is called the Commissioner's Cup. It's usually American can be like 6'8", 6'9".
Right.
And then my cup was called the Governor's Cup. Mm-hmm. Usually the American back then was like either 6'3" and no taller or 6'5" and no taller. They kind of moved the height up and down. Right. So I get called back to go to the Governor's Cup. Hands down, they signed me before I left because I had such a great first conference filling in. And as I'm flying back from that first conference back to the States for like a 2 months, 3 months break before I have to go back in August, I'm flying back and I was just being very reflective and being very like, understanding that God put me in a place that I didn't think I would have ever been in my life. And I was like, all you had to do was just believe.
Yeah.
Right. So if you know, my club program is called Just Believe Sports.
Yeah.
JBS. So that's where that actually came from.
Nice.
I was literally flying home, and I'll have to like tell this ain't always a cute story, but I'm like, buy me something nice when I get home. I have not bought anything yet. Everything I had did was like kind of help my family out, help my mom out with that first dunk contest check. This is after the dunk contest. This is 2 years after the dunk contest.
Yeah. I'm
like, I got signed for another deal. I'm already guaranteed for the next conference, right? And now I went from $7,500. Now I'm about to get $10,000 a month. So I'm like, I'm cool for a kid out of college, right? I'm getting me something nice. My boy picked me up in San Francisco. We drove straight to the BMW lot in Stevens Creek BMW, and I bought an M3, and I'm like, my license plate is going to say JSTBLEV, just believe.
Nice.
That's my license plate. So next year, go over there. We make it to the finals, but we lost it. My next year, I go over there in 91. Boom, we have an incredible year. So Wes Matthews. Mm-hmm. His dad, Wesley Matthews, was with the Lakers when they won their last championship with Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
He was the American for the other team.
Okay.
We end up sweeping this team. Right. He won the championship in 1988, right there on your wall.
Right there,
In 1989, in 1991, we went to the finals together. I beat him and won my first championship in 1991.
Very cool.
Became Mr. 100%. Only the second American in the Philippines have been awarded the Mr. 100% award. Career took off after that. 94 championship, 95 championship, 96 won 2 championships, 97 won a championship, 98 went to the finals, 2000 went to the finals. In my 13 and a half years in the Philippines, I won 7 championships and went to the finals 10 times.
He's on fire.
No, man, that's cool. I mean, it sounds like again, that's the premise of the show. I want people to hear everybody's background and stuff like that. But it sounds like you lived, shit, you had a real live professional career that, people are still just trying to fight for today. And you did it during a time without the internet, without social media, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like
without a agent pushing you, blowing you up, not without a media team behind you. And I didn't even have an agent. It was just luck, God's will, timing, working hard, and just being an overall good dude. Like, just being a good dude. Like, a lot of guys got sent home because they just weren't good dudes. Yeah. And I saw a lot of careers that could have been amazing over there. At the height of my career, it went from $40,000 a month. From $10,000 a month to $45,000 a month, plus bonuses, plus scheme, car, condo.
And obviously, I was saying just the atmosphere of people knowing you and stuff. I know they take care of you, and you know
want to be a player. If you're not in the NBA, don't go play nowhere else but the Philippines. If you want to be a player, don't go nowhere else other than the Philippines.
Right.
Our American players that were just over there for the FIBA Cup, and the NBA guys were over in the Philippines for the FIBA Cup. Yeah. They got an awakening of like, this is different. Yeah. They know every player. They know who you are. They know your style of play. Mm-hmm. And I just got back on Sunday. I was just there for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I remember saying that.
Working. And it's different for me now because I've been retired for over 20-some plus years now. But at one point, like, I did an interview over there before I left with a well-known reporter over there. And he was saying, like, at one point, you were probably the most recognizable person in all the Philippines. Yeah. Because of who you were in your career. My number's been retired over there. I have the most championships ever by any American in the Philippines. But he said, more importantly, like, people like the president of the country were big fans of mine. Like, that's the level you were at during your playing career in the Philippines.
Do you feel like you were an ambassador of basketball during that time too?
I do. I think when you talk about the era of kids, especially in the Philippines, that grew up when I was playing, they knew that what happened with my game was, remember, I couldn't shoot. Right. I got there, I couldn't shoot. Well, my coach was like, well, we're going to have to fix this.
We got to get you.
So as an ambassador, I showed that you can elevate your game. Yeah. You can continue to improve your game. You didn't have to be stuck in this pigeonhole. And then you didn't have to be like a gallivanter. Like, I didn't go out to clubs. I didn't party. I didn't go out and womanize. I stayed kind of humbled in my cocoon because when I got home, man, it was all cool. I could do what I wanted to do when I got home.
Exactly.
Like,
but when you were there,
when I was there, I'm like, under that spotlight, I was like, be a good dude, be respectful, understand the culture here. Understand you're in a country where like 80% of the people are poor. Yeah. Give back. Like, man, I was at prisons. I was at orphanages. There's a place there called Tondo, Smoky Mountain, which is, you'll see sometimes on TV, where the people go to the garbage dumpsters and they scavenge and live off there. And they actually live there. Wow. I got pictures of where I'm out there playing basketball with the guys out there, of the people in the community. Now, it is a raunchy smell that's there, but that's where they live. Mm-hmm. And I had my mentor over there, a guy named Pastor Charlie. He kind of took me, a white guy that ran a church in the Philippines, and they became my surrogate family over there. They were kind of my outlet because of my stardom over there. I really kind of did keep a very close group of friends that were Americans, because I was just Sean to them. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So Pastor Charlie and his wife, Darlene, I would go to their house before games, after games, and kind of just be simple over there. Right. And then when I got outside the community, it was just, so I can just go there and just drink
Chill
Dr.
out.
Pepper and eat chips. That's how we still are today. We're very close to me. And they just happen to be living in the Philippines.
Nice.
And but yeah, I think the way I play, it influenced a lot of guys coming underneath me. A lot of the guys that were the next stars coming up. It's kind of passing the torch.
Right.
And going back there this past 2 weeks, it was really cool to see guys that are still playing, that were kids when I was coming up, and they come up to me and it's a big thing over the Philippines where they call idol.
Mm-hmm.
Idol,
Nice.
they watch you as a kid. And I mimic my game after you. And there's this funny thing in the Philippines about how I used to shoot my free throws because my motor was so high.
Yeah.
I had to do like a routine to just slow my
Slow
motor
yourself
down so I could focus on a free throw.
Right.
So they were like, used to go. And everybody still there go, I used to go. And I'm like, I don't know if that's funny or not. I don't know because that don't look good. And I didn't make a lot of that at one point.
Sorry,
yeah. And
you didn't have the cool face. The cool
And so, and one thing, last thing before we talk about the club and stuff like that, I'll talk about the Philippines is that as I went back last week, I was having a moment like, man, okay, this is kind of cool. Now it's like maybe every other 20 person recognized me, and it's random.
Right.
It's random. But at one point, it was literally like, it was like Mike Tyson. They were like, you really was head down. You could not walk without people knowing you. And I was like, but I wonder if I would have appreciated it more and really understood how cool that was back then. Mm-hmm. I was just too much like, put yourself like, okay, go eat in a corner at a restaurant.
Right.
Then get out. Get back to your room. You know?
Right.
I didn't really understand, like, man, maybe be a little bit more networking.
Yeah.
Be a little bit more accessible to people and reach out and touch them a little bit more. Like if I do it again, I would be a little bit more. Hopefully that didn't take away from my focus as a player. I go, well, that's cool. It was a good run. And I kind of like it now. And at that moment, I'm standing on the street. I went outside the hotel to get a coffee. And a lady standing next to me on the corner as traffic is going by. It looks like a regular teacher. Mm-hmm. Regular teacher. And she goes, and I was like, oh, well, that was cool. Wish I would appreciate a little bit more. And she goes, excuse me, would you happen to be Sean Chambers? I go, oh my God, thank you for that. I was having a moment.
Like, thank you for still recognizing me.
I was having a moment. It was a random lady, just a regular lady, looked like a teacher. And I go, you must be a serious Alaska fan. Yeah. So I'll talk on Alaska real fast. So Alaska is actually a milk product company. In third world countries, they drink a lot of powdered milk or evaporated milk. They have a lot of cows. Right. It's not a lot of land mass. So Alaska is a brand that's actually started in Holland. My team owner, his family started the milk company in the Philippines. They own the biggest soybean plant, I believe, in the world. The company was worth like $1 billion. Wow. And so all the teams, as you know, in foreign country or European leagues, they're typically are owned by corporations. Yes. And what they do, they use them as marketing tools. So the other teams in our league is like a team called San Miguel Beer, Shell Oil, Pure Foods Hot Dogs. They're all Pepsi Cola has a team. There's a team over there that I just work with right now. Is a cell phone company. They go by the name of Talking Text. Well, the guy who owns the team, he owns all the cell phone towers in all the Philippines. So he's right. He's got a monopoly, you know. And he actually, before our current owner of the Sacramento Kings, this guy was in the bid for owning the Kings, trying to buy and keep it in Sacramento. Okay, that's the kind of money these guys are rolling with. Deep pockets. And you're talking about, 90 million Filipinos. Everybody got a cell phone. Yeah. So that's the team I was just with now because my current team, Alaska Milk, we sold our team to another company. So we no longer has a team in the PBA. Right. We are one of those like old heads now. Yeah. All right. But the love for our team still remains. That's what's up. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's Philippine basketball too. I mean, that's me to Philippine basketball.
You've definitely laid out a good career, and I mean, if nobody knew your journey, they damn sure gonna know it after this show.
Yeah. So I was lucky. Like, I became one of the greatest players in Sacramento, which is wild to do. I went on to Cuesta, the greatest player in the history of Cuesta, Hall of Fame. But, hold all the records at Quest, to go to Cal Poly, be an All-American. Like, I've never been a guy that kind of brag about my career, but I do know this. Everywhere I everywhere I played, everywhere I coached, all I know is winning. And I know that comes with a habit. And that's a habit that I think you can put out there, but I won at Cuesta, I won at Cal Poly, I won at Highlands. It's just a bit amazing story to be considered one of the greatest. I think Joe Davison did a story a few years ago, said my high school team in '83 is the number 3 greatest team in the history of Sacramento. It's crazy.
No, and it's
crazy.
I mean, at the end of the day, man, it's like you said, it ain't about a ego thing. It ain't about a bragging thing. You got to give people their flowers while they're here. You know what I mean? And you lay the groundwork. So that's what this show's about. That's what like I said, get guys like you on the forefront so people can see it and really understand the history of who you are and what you've done. You know what I mean?
Right.
And now let's move on to the AAU aspect, the coaching aspect, because now we're talking about Coach Chambers now, right? So, let's start off with, pretty much my straightforward question I ask pretty much everyone who comes on this show. AAU basketball in 2023. And for those who don't know, if they're watching on YouTube or listening to the audio side, JBS is a women's program. You're clearly doing your thing on that. You're a 3 SSB program. So just in case you guys are checking out, that's why he has all the Adidas gear on. and I'm on the Adidas side from last year, but I'm on the 3S Gold, GB. So trying to work my way up.
keep grinding. That's how I did it.
And we'll talk more about it because obviously people always have those questions. How do you guys get there? How did you do this? Blah, 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 whatever. We'll get to that point. But what is your overall take? And I don't care if you speak on the girls' side, boys' side, just your overall take of AAU basketball as a whole in 2023.
You want the good, the bad, and the ugly?
You can give me a little bit of both.
We're all going to start with the parents, right? And the reality or non-parents not being realistic to this journey. A lot of parents can derail their kids' journey when it comes to this game now because they want things so fast, so quick, and so instant instead of like grind.
Yeah.
Everything you're going to happen, everything, I believe this, you do need a little level of support of people that can help you get on certain stages. And that's, again, one of the things with the 3SSB and the 3SS Gold is getting kids on a stage. You do need those people, but everything your kid deserves and earns and they fight for, it will happen.
Yes.
It will happen. But a lot of times you do have parents get in front of that journey. And those are the parents I just don't rock with. Like, I'm going to do everything in my willpower to make sure your kid gets everything they entitled.
Right.
And I'm going to provide financial support. I'm going to sponsor kids. I'm going to put you on a stage. I'm going to be available. I'm going to be practice 24/7. All I know is a grind. Like, I'm one of those dudes that, like, I don't have a day off, and I love it. Like, I don't take a day off. We practice on the weekends. I'm working as a principal now at a middle school. Like, I don't take a day off, and I love it.
Because a kid, I know this, but I always got to keep in mind, my audience might not know this. Right. Are you still the varsity coach at Antelope?
Still the varsity coach at Antelope.
Okay. Yeah. Antelope High School, in case you guys don't know. He's the varsity head coach.
And we're a monster.
Yeah.
We don't take days off, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, I love that. And I know there's some sacrifices that happens, as you know, as a coach, that you with family and stuff like that. But I love what I do. I love that I'm a grinder because I'm still that same guy, just grinding differently. Exactly. I'm not running the tower.
Right.
I'm not running the railroad tracks.
Right.
I'm not running the bleachers. I probably should, but
but you're trying to put that in your kids,
right? But am I going to be at the gym and make us grind? Absolutely. Am I watching video? I'm grinding. Like, it's just what I do. And so if parents can sit back and allow their kids' journey to happen, they're going to have much better experience as well as their kids will. So parents are a problem, but I promise you, dude, like for JBS, I'm happy with my program. I'm happy with the kids and the family that's in my program because you won't fit if you're different than that. If it's a me when it comes to you or my kid and my family, if it's that, you don't fit with us.
Right.
And we're able to say, kick rocks.
Right.
Peace out. Because at the end of the day, this has to be a we, not me situation when it comes to club basketball. You want to have an individual success. It's a strange thing, right? AAU, kids want to be individually successful and shine as individual. But you cannot do that if you don't have a team mindset. If you don't have a we, not me mindset, we're all going to fail.
Exactly.
But if we can do that, you're all going to be successful.
It's so crazy to me that, and I know I feel like every coach or every NBA player, especially the older NBA players that have their own podcasts and stuff, they speak about a lot of this, just this, maybe there's some responsibility on us, or, because I always try to look at it from all lenses. I really try to remain objective. And what I mean is just the younger and younger athletes, where it's become like you said, the me, not re mentality. I would attribute a lot of it to social media. You
100.
know what I mean? Like, that's my
100.
If I can't say it's all social media, because there's obviously some good points to it, right?
100.
But it's definitely created a culture of, like, if I don't have 30, win or lose, I didn't do anything.
100.
And it didn't used to be that way.
Yeah, and it's the social media clips.
Yeah.
The highlight. Parents go to these different, like, training things and little camps just to go get a media clip or a media plug. I think we got something like maybe 160 kids in university levels right now for JBS. And we'll talk about what we're talking about with Stojakovic. I've been lucky to keep pretty much the best players in Sacramento within our organization on JBS.
Yes.
We've been lucky to make those kids represent Sacramento.
Yeah.
Nina King right now over at University of Oregon right now for her official visit. Top 50 in the country. We'd be able to keep her stay here in Sacramento, represent Sacramento. Doesn't happen on the boys' side.
Yeah, you already know on the boys' side. It's
doesn't happen on the boys' side. They chasing everything else, but
except
built this here in Sacramento.
This out here. Yep.
I have never, and I mean never, and the kid, I got Janai Harrell at Stanford right now. I got 2 kids at Stanford right now. Kids all over the country balling. I've never had a D1 coach, D2 coach ask me what kind of social media clips they got. Ever.
Right.
But parents today are derailing their kids' journey because they want to go get a media clip. And everybody asked me, like, when you were in the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, what national tournaments did you play in? Or never.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
Now, I've been doing this now, 20 years on the club scene. And I'm a little not upset. How do I say this? Like, when I really started JBS, I really started for kids from North Highlands that couldn't afford it.
Right.
It turned into a bigger monster than that. I didn't have a plan for that.
Right.
I didn't plan on that.
Yeah.
Like, we started Just Believe Sports with Highlands High School because I saw AU organizations coming in and having tournaments at my school, Highlands High School. So I don't know if you know this, I was a coach at Highlands first.
No.
So when I retired, my last couple of years of playing in the Philippines, I started helping at the Highlands and coaching the girls team. Never seen a girls game before, ever. Never went to a Cal Poly girls game.
Yeah.
Never. And so when the AD still there, Steve Eakes asked me, like, come help the girls team. I'm like, man, you got it.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know anything about
Man, I just came back from the Philippines.
Right.
My pockets are heavy. They thick. I'm trying to figure out where I'm about to go kick it.
Right.
Yeah, I ain't coaching no girls basketball. Calls me again, say, hey, man, we just had a coach quit. The girls now done have 4 different coaches. Can you come help us out? I'm like, man, Steve, don't know what you're talking about, homie. I ain't never seen girls play. I didn't even know we had girls team in Highlands High School. Nah.
All right.
Then I don't know if you know or ever heard a guy named Scott Galbraith. Scott Galbraith is a legend from Highlands, played for the Cowboys. And he decides to take over the team, comes help. Now, he called the homie card because he's my little brother. He's like, hey.
I need your help.
I need your help, big dog.
Yeah.
I know you, Mr. Philippines. You all this, Mr. BMW, you big dog in there, but this is your boy calling from Highlands.
Right.
He's just played with the Cowboys, so he's on status level.
Right,
so he pulled the card. So I came out there one day, and I've been out there now for the last 21 years.
Nice,
I went one day. One day, he was coaching with a football mentality. I was coaching with a basketball mentality. And I was like, okay, man, you beating up these girls too much. He was trying to make them block each other like they was pulling for Emmitt Smith. Like, y'all like, dude, this ain't Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman out here,
Right.
man. He's trying to make them hit each other.
But it's like you said, it's how timing and
Yeah.
luck and
That's what
God's
happened.
plan, and there you go.
That's what happened. Then the really happened with me, I was still under contract with the Philippines. Helped Scott that year. We actually made it to the playoffs. And that was the most amazing feeling it was to see help some kids in North Highlands that didn't have none of this AU training and background and help them be successful.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I know that feeling.
Right? And so I went back home, and then what happened was Scott was off the hook, and then some crazy stories. It was like, wow, stories. I don't even know. Scott might see this. He might get mad. I got to tell one story. So we're playing at Placer High School. This is a crazy story. We're playing at Placer High School. Placer High School just beat Highlands before I came home.
Okay.
96 to like 17.
Ouch.
2 weeks later, I get involved. I'm trying to teach. All right, why don't we just slow the game down? Teach them how to just get the ball to the right kid. And if I'll even say these names because these kids might actually see this. Cassandra Waller, white girl, mom was schizo, used to kick her out of the house, lock her out the door, end up living with my mother.
Okay.
Crystal Jean-Pierre was another war player, and then my absolute dog. Actually, Candace and Cassandra were my first two, like, make me fall in love with girls basketball. My first love for girls basketball. And it's kind of one of those addictive drugs, right?
Yeah.
You're always trying to find it.
Yeah.
I'm always trying to find my first absolute love when it came to Cassandra and Candace when it was coaching them because they had nothing. They had nothing. And they were just like sponges, and they wanted somebody to help save them.
That's great, man.
Cassandra ended up going to Boise State, San Francisco State. Candace ended up being one of the greatest players at Long Beach State out of Highlands. Now, the year before, they never won a game.
Right.
2 weeks ago, they played Placer High School. And I'm starting to help with Scotty. And I'm just saying, okay, this is what we're going to do. You know, he's old school because Scotty grew up in Highland. We were all talented.
Yeah.
So Scotty was having an old school mentality, like we're going to run motion offense. Everybody's touching the ball. We're all doing this. We getting after woo-ha. We're Highlands. You know, we hood. Like, that's how Scotty mentality was.
Right.
I'm like, Scotty, if that white girl is not the only one touching the ball, and Candace ain't the only one touching the ball, and Crystal, and it's kind of funny, Crystal had like one of her finger was kind of halfway cut off.
Oh,
and I go, if that girl with the little half finger cut off don't touch the ball, nobody touches the ball. That's it. Right? Crystal Jean-Pierre went on to had a great career in college too. So Scotty was like, nah, coach. So we was arguing in practice.
Right.
We was arguing in practice. So, nah, coach, we're not doing that. I'm like, Scott, hear me out. Like, nobody else touched the ball.
Yeah.
These three, everybody else get the hell out the way. We go to Placer High School. This is, again, before cell phones. I'm home. When I was coming back and forth, I was going back to San Luis Obispo because I had to work out of California. I had to place a gym. And we go back. I go back, come back home, and I'm helping Scotty now this year. And I don't even know where Placer High School is. Okay. I go all the way up Highway 50. I go to Placer.
Yeah, you're like, oh.
And they're like, no, homie, this is El Dorado High School. I'm like, well, what the hell is Placer High School? That's in Auburn. Like, what hell sense does that make? That don't make no damn sense. So I fly through Highway 49. If you know how that goes, that's a dog that you ready to get sick. So I get there, get to the high school game. My first game. This is my first game. I'm assistant coach with Scott. Get to Placer. They were, again, 2 weeks before, they were at El Camino tournament. Placer beat them like 96-12. We go to the game, playing the game. We're stalling, holding the ball. They had a kid named Paulie Dong. I don't kind of remember this. It's crazy. Paulie Dong went on to play at University of San Diego. She had a scholarship, D1 kid. Stalling, holding the game. Cassandra's going off. Nobody can stay in front of Candace. Candace ball handles, but just fast. Krista doing her thing. We're winning something like 39-24 right before halftime. Balling. Everybody's losing their mind. Right before halftime, the girl Paulie Dawn hits 2 threes. We're up by 8 at halftime. Mind you, 96 7 to 17. Mm-hmm. 2 weeks ago. Athletic director Steve Eeks is still there. We go in the gym, locker room. He's going, Scott goes walking back and forth, pacing back and forth. He goes, and a lot of people know Scotty. This is afraid, but he don't mind this, I know. Scotty asks Steve, you got anything to say? Steve says, nah, this is amazing. This is amazing.
It's like you turn these girls around in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Incredible. This is incredible. Scott asked me, Coach Sean, you have anything to say? I'm like, ladies, people make runs. This is basketball.
Yeah.
This happens. They hit 2 shots. I know that was kind of crazy. We made a couple plays. That kind of wild. But they're over there in that locker room going,
what the hell's happening right now?
That's exactly what I said. What the hell happened?
Yep.
They're over there spinning. We are good. We're good. Scotty, 6'4", 6'5". Maybe at this time he's about 275, 260, just all muscle. Tight end. Dallas Cowboys. He gets in front of all the girls. He goes, "What the fuck is happening? We had him by the balls. We had him by the balls." Screaming at all the girls.
And I know they like, what?
The girls are looking at me like, "Who got balls, coach? They should be playing over here."
Like, wrong gender.
Every girl in that locker room is bawling. We go out there and get smashed the second half. That's why I stayed. So after that, I felt like I was a buffer between Scotty and the girls.
Yeah.
That's how I ended up doing this club thing.
Right.
So I stayed. Then the next year, 2 weeks later, Scotty get called and get picked up by Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
Now I'm by myself.
Yeah. And next thing you know,
23 years later, I'm still here.
The man at JBS.
He got him. He had him by the balls. He had him by the balls. Stayed me, got me coaching the girls basketball.
You can tell him thanks
Yeah.
for helping me.
Yeah. And that's my guy. That's my family. So jump forward now to club basketball, man. It's like when Scotty and I were playing, when we were playing, you didn't have that parent involvement. Your parents were like, you're going to get what you get. But it wasn't like entitlement, like, why is my kid not getting this?
Yeah.
Why is my kid not getting that? And I have a way with JBS. Like, I don't get that. I don't get that conversation. But right now we had 100, maybe 130 girls in the program.
Right.
And if you get those kind of people that's going to be a me only first and not see the big picture, it's not a good fit.
Right.
So, and I'm going to do it respectfully. Like,
of course.
Like, as a head coach at the Highlands, I was telling people this. I've never cut a kid a day in Highlands. I've been the only coach at Highlands High School. Antelope.
Yeah.
Like, I've never cut a kid. Even at Highlands, I never cut a kid. And that's why I have that rule, actually, because when I was at Highlands, the kids needed to be part of something.
Yeah.
Because
you know other shit that's out there waiting.
it was thick at Highlands.
Yeah.
Like, I've been through it all when I was coaching the girls at Highlands, because it was how I grew up there, right? So we seen it all. So when I got to Highlands, it was like house burns down, parents left, people got shot, people got hurt, drama, car accident. There was never stability. It was always something. So any kid that wanted to play basketball, they were on the team. And still today, my Highlands girls are still my ride or die kids. Mm-hmm. If I put out the whistle, the smoke signal, they all coming, for whatever.
Good.
They're down for whatever, because it was a different connection. My connection at Antelope is a little different, and I love it, but you have both mom and dad working class community.
Yeah.
There's no entitlement. I'm never getting an email or a phone call asking me why didn't so-and-so not play.
It's interesting with Antelope. You mentioned that because it is kind of this
Different.
in between. Because Roseville, 2 blocks away is Roseville, and the culture
and West
Park, and it's just different.
And Wood Creek,
yeah,
and West Park,
but then you go, I guess you could say the other way. Then you have
Foothill Highlands, Grant,
and that's
San Juan.
You're like really in this weird in between.
We're in this weird in between that draws for amazing success.
Yeah.
And the crazy part of all that is, right, you got Center over there, Rio Linda.
Yeah.
These are our neighborhood schools.
Yeah, I know.
Right? In the same kind of a community, working class community. We got working class community. We got people that actually own their homes, although they're middle income homes.
Right.
You know? And we're Roseville unified.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
Very
your location and just kind of that area. It is very interesting.
Incredible melting pot.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Like, people really think that Antelope is a black school. And they're like something like 12% of our population.
Right. It's interesting. It is.
And we got a strong 1,800 to 1,900 students.
Nice.
Fabulous. You can ask for a better place. It really is one of the best school community in all of Sacramento, I think, because of the working class and the high academics you get from the Roseville Unified School District. Mm-hmm. You get parents are not feeling their kids are entitled. Like, my son goes to Antelope, and he doesn't get entitled for nothing. Right. And it makes for an amazing level of competition. Right. It really does. Yeah. It makes for a level, that you go, like, I'm not going to throw the other schools under the bus, but it's not happening at Granite Bay.
Yeah.
It's not happening at Rockland. You see what the drama we have there, Whitney.
Yeah.
You know, it's a different animal you're dealing with.
Atmosphere.
You know, and coaches are allowed to coach.
Yeah.
And I will add one last piece of this. Our superintendent of Roseville Unified School District is John Becker. Mm-hmm. So John Becker's now the superintendent. He actually opened up Antelope High School. He was our principal when he opened up the school. When the school opened up like 17 years ago. And he made it a point that sports is going to be highly important here. And it's going to lead our school culture and climate. And it's been that way since the day we opened the school. So.
No, that's, well, you already kind of answered my next question. Well, I was going to say, like, what's your driving force, but you kind of already answered that saying you want to help the community, which is great.
Yeah, it helps the community. And then still, as a coach, I still, like, work with the fear of failure, but I just challenge it a little different now.
Right.
I'm not afraid to fail, but I used to be afraid, like, we got to win. We got to win, right? Right now, I think, Antelope, we won the last 11 league titles in a row now.
Well, because one of my coaches for my program for YBA Elite, Barrett Bryce, his daughter was on your team last year. I think she was a senior.
Yes.
And he was telling me about, like, it was funny because you guys were kicking everybody's ass last year, basically. And he was telling me, he was like, man, I'm tired of even going to her games because I already know the outcome. He's like, I'll just wait till they get to sections or something like that. Yeah. So, but for last year, did you guys make it to sections?
So we went into section. We went into the Final Four section. We ended up losing to St. Mary's, which I do got beef with that, but that's a whole nother story because we were a Division II school. Okay. So what happened was when we had Janai Harrell and the kid at Stanford, we were a different animal.
Right.
We were a different animal. We were just like, you had a very elite level kid. You had a very elite level group of kids. And because our level of success for that time has now bumped us, the girls program only, from D1, D2, which I think we belong and should stay, to D1 for the next 2 or 3, unless we show a level of failure.
Right.
Which I think is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because those girls that were ridiculously good that were there 3-4 years ago, the kids that were not even in middle school are suffering because of their success. I think the rule is asinine. I think it's ridiculous. I actually talked to the guy who actually put the rule in play about 2-3 weeks ago. John Williams, his son's now the coach at Liberty High School. His granddaughters are now playing for JBS.
Right.
So he's in my gym the other day. I'm like, dude, your rule is ridiculous. He goes, it really is. He goes, I really put it in.
At least he admitted it.
He goes, I really put it in before I retired for the private school, the St. Mary's of the world, the Modesto Christians of the world, those schools that were really going straight and recruiting kids to be Sac High of the world back in the day when Sac High was a monster, when they had a charter school. That's why I put it in. And he go, but now it is affecting some of the public schools that we didn't intend to.
Yeah.
Because right now, my kids should have had a chance to win Section Division II last year, but we got bumped up to we could have won it.
Because another team that's kind of in that same boat, I would say, like you on the boys' side, is like Vanden.
Absolutely.
Because Vanden's a Division III, I think, or Division II or III.
Yep.
But
they got pushed up.
Yeah, but they got. I mean, Coach Holloway, he's been doing a phenomenal job there.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I really like Mike, and but I'm just saying, like, he gets that level of talent, but. You know as well as I do, the different levels. You know what I mean? It's tough.
And the thing about us right now, we're going to always be competitive. That's the problem, right? Yeah. So right now, we are a Division II school, and we should remain in our numbers. But because of our history and the fact that a lot of my kids are mixed into the JBS program, they're going to be solid and they're going to be competitive. So they're going to always have a chance to make that Final Four every year.
Yeah.
Now, the chance to win the division, which we should, is being taken away from us. Right. Because at the end of the day, St. Mary's is still going to have no boundaries.
Because they can recruit.
Yeah. Folsom is having a good run because they're just having a good run. Right. So that could always flip around because they are a public school.
Exactly.
Now, so every other the public schools, I don't care. McClatchy is a public school, like all the other D1 monsters out there. But St. Mary's, who had won a string of like 20 champions for the girls' side, they're always going to recruit. Well, we got 3 kids from Sacramento going to St. Mary's High School right now. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So they're always going to have no boundaries, and that's what the rule was for. But now you're punishing the public schools
Yeah.
because they had some level of success, which I think is foul. Because as long as I'm at Antelope, we're going to be successal.
Right.
I don't care. I don't know how you put it. We're gonna have a run, you know. And I took that model as not my thing. It was like I took that from Oak Ridge High School.
Okay.
So when I got into girls basketball at the level, when you go back to club basketball, when we talk about that, when I first started coaching, again, fear of failure, and I wanted to be successful, I started looking at the programs that were successful. So I looked at Oak Ridge High School, Steve White, I was like, why are they always good?
Mm-hmm.
So I started watching them. So a lot of people don't know this about Sean Chambers. Like, people think that I get kids come to my school. They think that things just happen not organically.
Right.
Like, I really went and watched Oak Ridge and go, how are they always good? He has a EDH program, right? You know, the EDH all net program.
Yeah.
That those kids are starting at third grade. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Feeder programs.
So by the time they get to eighth grade, the cream has truly risen to the top.
Yep.
And those kids that are going to continue to play are going to play.
Mm-hmm.
And you see them out at Hardwood Palace still out here every weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm like, got it.
And they know the system. They
know the system.
How, the space. I mean, they're learning at a very early age.
Like,
you know what I mean?
My first time playing Oak Ridge was last year in the playoffs. That was the first time we ever seen each other and we beat them.
Okay.
It was the second round of playoffs. But and I told him, like, my whole makeup as a coach started watching why you were always good. And you may not always have that elite kid.
Yeah.
But you're always going to be good if you have a certain system and standard in place.
Exactly.
You can always be competitive.
Yep.
Now, you may get that year. Now, you got Janai Harrell and Kyle Lassane.
Or
and
you get that one stud
that one stud, and now I'm sitting back like, yeah, wish you would. I'm sitting back like, yeah. I'm going to give y'all about 10 minutes and it's over. And I'm going to try to keep myself engaged because it's about to go down.
Exactly. I know exactly.
And I'm really managing the kids more than I'm managing the game because they know we about to be up by 30 at first quarter, and now they want to play more.
Right.
And I'm like,
exactly,
slow it down. So that's the thing when it comes to high school and Antelope and stuff like that. But now going back to the club stuff with the parents, problem. If a kid lets their journey happen, it's going to happen.
Yes.
The club scene. There's levels to this. I didn't create it. I didn't make it. But there's levels to this. And there's levels to being on certain circuits. There's levels to, like, being able to put kids on a certain stage. Now, and I say that, and I say this cold-heartedly, like, I can't have everybody. I don't put more than 10 kids on the team.
Right.
So I'm trying to look for, and when I say this, I am a NorCal team. I'm a Sacramento team, really. Like, I try to build my top team, my 3SSB team, with Sacramento roots kids.
Of course.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people got teams from kids from all over.
Yeah.
Like the Bay Area teams, the Cal Stars, the kids. And
because the only heavy hitters, and again, you correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just as an observer on the girls' side, but only the real teams I see on the girls' side that I would say can compete with you in terms of, being a circuit team would be Jason Kidd Elite, West Coast Elite to a degree, but I don't think they have such a good foothold here anymore.
I'm not going to tell them we beat them by 35. Don't worry about that. I won't bring that up. No, I'm kidding. It was 25. No, but I respect what they're trying to do. Though.
And then Cal Stars.
And Cal Stars. Now, with them,
you guys,
we are a Sacramento-based team.
Yeah.
All my kids are from this region.
Right.
I got one kid come out from Reading. Right. And I had to pick up a kid that came from Fresno.
Okay.
But my program, and I tell everybody, I'm a Sacramento program.
Yeah.
All those other teams,
they're pulling from, I know.
They're from all over. So I've been lucky for the most part to get pretty much the top core kids every year from Sacramento to stay home and represent.
Nice.
And able to put them on the
Maybe you
stage.
could teach me something. I wish I could do that shit.
Yeah. It's just mindset.
Right,
I'm going to let you know. If you buy into this, you're going to get rewarded, right? And so now when I go about the stages, and again, I can't have every kid, but the reality is what it is. Like, the fact that I can put you on a 3SSB program on stage in Sacramento, out of Sacramento, like here, a home-based program out of Sacramento, it's hard to compete with.
Yeah.
The other programs are cool, and I respect the guys that's doing all the local stuff, but I can put you on a stage where you're playing against. Adidas had, I think, somewhere like top on each grade level, the top 25 kids on the Adidas circuit this year for the girls' side.
Nice.
On the 16U and the 17U.
Yeah.
I could put you on that stage where you can play against them.
Now you're going against them, and
now you're showing, now Nina's Kane is top 50 in the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no.
Liv Jurgensen right now out of Oak Ridge High School is born up into the top 100 right now. Sacramento-based kids. And I tell kids, once you're in my program, I am a loyalist at fault. Once you're in my program, if I got a kid that's been rocking with me like since 6th grade, 7th grade, I don't care. It's my job to make you that good. It's my job to make you legit. I'm never going to go out of Sacramento, recruit over you, and say,
I'm very much the same way. Me and you are the same in that philosophy, because if you know, I tell people, go on my Instagram. You can scroll down and see it. Like, you see the kids as they grow up with me, and
100.
And I'm doing that on the boy side, but unfortunately on the boy side, like we kind of alluded to, you know, you can coach a kid up from 5th grade, nobody notices him, but by sophomore year, 16U, whatever, I'm out. I'm playing with Jalen Green Elite. I'm playing with Oakland Soldiers. I'm playing with Team Lillard. I'm playing blah 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 blah. You know, and it's
that's where the girl is a bit different. Yeah, the girl's a bit different. They'll stay with you.
Girls. And I know this mainly from, you know, shout out to Coach Shaw and Coach King, because they run our YBA girls side, you know, our division. They tell me all the time, they're like, girls are more loyal. They're more, 100. You know, they buy in and they appreciate you more. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
I can definitely see that.
There's the really good kid out of Rockland High School. Her name is Bianca. She's been with Team Tet for years. Mm-hmm. And honestly, like Tet knows, like his platform was not that of the other team, like a CalStars or a JBS. And he was straight up, we talk about it.
Yeah.
But the kid's been loyal. Mm-hmm. She wouldn't leave. And then for whatever reason, she kind of opened herself up this year and became a bidding war in September. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. So I actually reached out to him as well. And I believe she ended up choosing to go play for CalStars next year. But it was the fact that she stayed loyal this whole time. And this is late in the game now for her.
Yeah.
She's going into her sophomore year.
Yeah.
You know, she could have been on the stage last year. But she stayed loyal to him and his program, which I respect. You know, and that's one of the things I'm different when it comes to a club director. And I'm not much of a cusser, but I bullshit you not. This is what Sean Chambers and JBS will never do, and my coaches will never do. If you play for Team Ted or Tom Tran or Jason Kidd or CalStars, I would never, and I mean never, absolutely never, go at your parents or you and say, hey, come holler at me, come play for me.
Right.
And that is 100. Everybody else doesn't operate like that.
Of course not.
Everybody, it's just and I mean, everybody does it.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody that does, but I feel good in my skin that's how I operate. Even though you may lose a kid and it feels dirty and it feels ugly. That's the ugly part about AU. But I have no problem. Like, if a kid leaves, they leave. It was meant to be. But I will never. Have I got kids from other programs? Yes.
But usually I'm guessing like the parents
100
or
100 and or some disgruntled something that happened with that other team. Exactly. They didn't feel good. Liv Jurgensen is one of the best players in all of Sacramento and Northern California. She was playing with 2 other teams that didn't think she was good enough and end up in my gym one day. Remember this name, Liv Jurgensen. Ended up in my gym one day last year. The first day she stepped in my gym, I go, she's different.
Yeah.
She may not be making all her shots, but she reminds me of me with her motor in fear of failure. She wanted to be successful at everything. Once we get her when we got her mindset to understand, ain't nobody 100%.
Right. Nobody is.
And nobody. She has been blown off the Richter scale. Just got offered by Cal Berkeley. I mean, just left and right getting these offers, and it's like when she realized you ain't got to be perfect, you just got to be damn good.
Yeah.
And she's amazing. But she literally walked in my gym after she left 2 of those programs you name. I'm not going to name them, but they were like, she ain't good enough. I'm like, that's how we got it. But I didn't go.
Yeah, you didn't go.
I didn't go to that parent and say, hey, by the way, man, this is what I can do for your JBS. I can sponsor you because I can sponsor a lot of kids because, as you know, with the 3SSB, we get a chunk of change.
Exactly.
We get a chunk of change. I think that's another part when it comes to JBS with people. Don't count my money.
Right.
don't count my pockets. A lot of people look and say, okay, if they got a club fee of $100 a month, and they got I'm in the gym and I see about 190 to about 110 kids in the gym, and people's going counting the numbers.
Right.
They don't know. Like maybe 40 of those kids I realize got other circumstances going on that they're not paying club fees.
Right.
So don't count.
And that's nobody's business, but
that's what happens in club basketball. So you may see kids or some parents get a little disgruntled, like, man, like,
I know what you mean. I mean, YBA, you
100.
know what we deal with.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
100.
And it's interesting because you hear I was listening to Gilbert Arenas' podcast.
Yes.
I listen to podcasts all over because I'm obviously doing my own, so I always try to listen to my peers. And No Chill Gil is definitely a very vocal brother.
Yes, he is.
But AAU was brought up, right? AAU and the topic of because he was proposing, or his idea was we should start adopting the model of overseas, like the UK or things like, how they have clubs, professional clubs, as opposed to here where it's still amateur,
right?
And because of course the thing he brought up, he said there's a lot of people using this as a cash grab.
Yep.
Which it's out there. You know what I mean? Like you can't deny that fact. If there's a lot of people doing things the right way and doing it on the side that you would say is good, there's gonna be people doing it on the opposite side of the spectrum.
100.
It just is. I had an episode with my brother because he runs a program in Portland. I said it's up to parents to use discernment on who they're dealing with. You know what I mean? Like it's not my job as a co-director of this organization to monitor other organizations.
Exactly.
All I can tell my parents is, okay, this is what we've done. This is our history. This is what our structure is. If this works for you, be a part of it. If it doesn't, go elsewhere. But then if you go elsewhere and you get burned, don't look back at me like, oh, I should have done something, or you should have warned me. I don't have time to worry about somebody else.
Absolutely.
I got enough shit on my home plate. You know what I mean?
That is Sean Chambers and JBS right there.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling you, this is what we do. This is our character. I got great people. My coaching staff is amazing. Like I have females, there are high school coaches. My circle is very tight. I think that's one of the reasons I'm kind of a unique story in Sacramento. Like people know me, but they don't really know me.
Yeah.
They don't really know me. They're
better
like,
that
they
way.
see me at Hardwood, they're like, man, there's that guy.
But it's better that way, trust me.
And I'm loud, I'm whistling, and then I get in, I get out, and you don't see me for another 2 or 3 weeks at Hardwood because typically my top teams for JBS, we never play at Hardwood.
You're traveling.
We don't play at Hardwood.
Yeah.
My younger kids can play there. But I tell people when they come to my tryouts, you come to my tryout, go see everybody. And I'm 100% mean it. Go see everybody. Go see Jason Kidd. Go see CalStar.
Yeah.
Come see JBS, and then make a business decision.
Yeah.
But you're gonna see like we are who we are. We're not trying to be like back. And I'm gonna go sideways because I never talked about this program much. Is the Militant?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember them.
I remember them.
Team like brash, obnoxious, off the hook, and their whole goal was trying to take JBS down. But I was like, we are who we are.
Exactly.
And they did different tactics to try to, but they're no longer here.
That reminds me of what you just described, and not to cut you off, it just clicked to me. So I read a lot of books.
Right.
That's, I don't know, I'm just a reader. I'm not gonna make it sound like I'm some profound thing. I actually read books. But there was a book I read called The Infinite Game versus the Finite Game by Simon Sinek, and I really love that book because what you described is exactly the philosophy of that. He said, he used an analogy, and I just did the quick version of it, but it was Appleverse when they came out with the iPad or the iTunes and all that stuff, and there was that and the Zune. I don't know if you remember Zune, and that was their big MP3 players, all the MP3 players. He said Zune, when it came out, they marketed well, they did that, and they were kicking Apple's butt, you know what I mean, in terms of marketing. And Simon Sinek had an opportunity to sit down with the Apple rep, and he said, man, the Zune, they're killing y'all right now. And the Apple rep turned to him and said, yeah, I have no doubt. it's a good product.
Right.
Right. And like he
Right.
didn't, and it occurred to him, he said, the goal of the infinite player is to keep playing the game.
100.
The finite player wants to beat you.
Right.
Right. But finite meaning they're going to end.
They're going to end.
Right.
Right.
But the
Fabulous.
goal, the infinite guy,
Yep.
ain't worried about beating anybody. We're just worried about keep playing the game. As long as we keep playing the game,
that's right.
That's our win.
That's right.
Right. So I just want more people to, I guess, hear that on this show, because the premise of most of this show is to kind of try to enlighten people on how this AAU system and this monster works.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of people in the AAU system. I'm going to be very careful here because I don't want to be on the bus. But there's a lot of people that we've lost some players that because they wanted the here and the now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're in the long game though. We're looking at the long run. Like, where are you going to put your kid on the stage in the next 4 or 5 years right now? Right. And once again, if you're taking the long game, you're doing it the right way and you're doing things the right way, you get addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
We lost some kids and picked up like 3 or 4 kids that are phenomenal, that fit what we do. Their parents fit what we do. The parents is all in. And again, I don't go after kids. I don't go after programs. I don't talk about other people's programs. I don't talk about what they are and what they're not. And one thing about JBS, we're consistent. We do what we say we're going to do, and I'm very true to my word. So that's my Highlands makeup again about the kids I was working with Highlands. It was like I had to be true to everything I said I was going to do because they had too many heartbreaks going on in their lives.
Right.
So, and that's still their model today. If I'm saying we're opening up a gym on Sunday at 8 o'clock, we're going to be at the gym at 8 o'clock. I'll be the first one there.
Nice.
And so we're always looking at the long run. And now some of our younger kids, like I said, we lost some kids because of this, that, and the other reason. But they're 4 years from now,
right.
Like you said, when you call me talking about, I mean, like, I'm a loyalist at fault. That kid was not at your level when you left. Now that kid is different. You're not that kid because that kid stayed committed to this program.
Exactly.
And we're different because eventually, as we continue to grow, there's mindset that goes with it. There's a skill level that end up coming with it. There's understanding of being on. One of the reasons, like some of the kids that I don't get in Sacramento for JBS is because of the stage, right? So they know when you have 5th, 6th, and 7th graders come in the gym right after or before Nina Kane, Liv Jerkins, and the older kids that they see are just massive rock stars. They understand there's a level of expectations now that they have to hold up to.
Yeah.
So those kids are getting that now. Now the 5th grader, the 6th grader, the 7th grader, they're understanding right now we are different. We are different. We are different than everybody in Sacramento. I'm sorry, but we are. We're just different than all the main group of teams in Sacramento. Once they get to that 9th grade and sophomore year, they've been on that umbrella for so much. So when they show up again, they're like, this is what we do.
Right.
Right now, they may have some struggles with every now and then because they can't.
Of course.
We're not supposed to lose the local teams.
Yeah.
We're not supposed. We're
right.
Adidas sponsored program. We're not to have challenges against local teams. It's a different umbrella. And some parents, although they want it for their kids, they don't always want that pressure on their kid either.
Right.
They want, I want the easiest route possible.
Yes.
The less resistance possible. The kids that are in our program right now, like the younger girls that are going right now, the high school kids are getting started. They're going under that gauntlet right now. Understand, we're different.
Yeah.
We show up in Hardwood, we're different.
Yeah.
You got the orange and purple on and gray, you're different.
Right.
And then the people that we're about to play against, they go, oh, damn, they're here this weekend.
Yeah.
We ain't seen them in a while.
Exactly.
You know? And then they will take their lumps and bruises right now, but the cream will keep rising to the top. I don't care what happens now, but for those group of kids, when they're sophomores in high school, they're going to walk on the stage now. It's what we do.
Nice.
It's what we do.
I wanted to ask you then, before moving to the other segments, if you don't mind talking about it, because I talked about it on my YouTube and on my different podcast episodes and whatnot, trying to kind of give a little bit of layout of how do you get to the 3SB point or the 3SG point. And you know, I think me and you are probably going to say a lot of the same similar things. You got to be consistent. You got to win. You got to, you got to grind in terms of, and I kind of went into detail. I said not grind, not like everyone says grind. Like that's a buzzword. But I mean like No, you have to physically take these kids where they need to go. You need to wash their damn uniforms. You need to make sure, you know, parents are getting kids where they need to be on time. You need to make sure you have a certain level of studs there. Like, just all that in turn. If you want to give like a quick summary and rundown how it worked out for
us to start off with, when we're again, it's one of those things I hate to say is one of God's callings. I'm sorry. It is what it is most of the time. And if you do right, you will be rewarded. My very first JBS team, Manna Johnson, Brittany Shine, Sarah James, Kyra Dunn. They're referees out here. Brittany Shine and Kyra Dunn.
Your recall ability is amazing.
Yeah, I know. I'm blowing
like,
away.
He says name after name after name. Like this, your recall ability.
So actually, that's one of my biggest skills as a coach. I don't forget nothing.
I gotta give you credit on that because I got good recall ability, but you right now, man, you got great recall ability.
Yeah, Madison Lee. So my very first team. And I can back up a little bit. I started a thing we used to call Sacramento. I don't know how long you've been Sacramento. We used to have the Sac Super 60. So we used to have a boys' side and a girls' side. Well, when I took off at Highlands, going back to the clubs thing, my kids can afford AAU clubs. They couldn't afford AAU tournament. And I didn't understand why they were using Highlands High School gym in our gym where a community of kids that could not afford it. Why are we using, and they still use Highlands, right? We know that, right? I don't know what I just said. But they still use Highlands for tournament.
Right.
So, what girl named Trista Rossi, dog, one of my dogs at Highlands. When I got to Highlands, I became like, you know, the reason I started coaching girls too was like, I knew I gave it some kind of credibility because of who I was as a Sacramento Hooper.
History and all that. Yeah.
My Sacramento Hooper. So I gave girls basketball a huge stage when I started coaching girls basketball. People were like, whoa.
Absolutely.
Sean Chambers is coaching girls. How's that happen?
Right.
Other people start getting in the game.
Yeah.
Like other dudes start getting in the game.
Right.
And again, wasn't the plan. Trista Rossi, my dog, she's a North Highlands dog. Her families are dogs. The Rossi families are dogs. They are a white Italian. I'm talking street dogs. The whole family.
Nice.
Dogs. Like they're hood.
All right.
They're hood. White kids in Highlands. Trista was a dog. Trista, this is literally what happened. Trista goes up to Highlands to go watch the AU tournament. Mm-hmm. Charles Baldwin. You know Charles Baldwin.
Of course.
Charles Baldwin was running the tournament at Highlands.
Of course.
Charles Baldwin was running the tournament at Highlands. I don't even know anything about AU. Yeah. I don't know anything about AU.
Right.
She goes, Coach, there's a game going on in the gym, and they won't let me in. Excuse me, what?
Right.
There's a tournament going on at Highlands. I want to watch the game, but they won't let me in. Can you get me in?
Yeah, you're like, well, let me see what's
Brakes,
going on.
punched, car. I had a stick shift. Flying. Get up to this guy. What the frick you talking about? You got a game in our gym, they ain't going to let you in the gym? Get up there. They have this tournament. I go in the gym, and, you know, I'm a good dude, but when I push my button, you know, I can go Highlands Oak Park.
Right.
I walk in the gym like, man, I'll shut this shit down.
Yeah, like, yo,
what are you talking about? You're going to have one of my girls in my neighborhood run a tournament in our gym that this kid can't even afford because they outsource. They can't even afford it to be in the gym for the $5 or $6. And you're not going to let them in to watch? Right. Oh, hell no. Next day, I'm in the gym creating the scene. The guy's like, I don't know who you are. I'm like, well, I'm Sean Chambers. That's my picture on the wall. That's my number retired in Highlands. I go in there. I'm like, well, we need to meet on Monday with the principal. Again, I'm a Highlands dude. Yeah. Our principal at the time. As a school administrator now, I understand the things that a principal, an administrator, an athletic director can do and have hands-on if they choose to.
Right.
Or they can let just things go be dealt with somewhere else. Well, I started, what I don't like people doing, don't count his number because I don't know what team he lets in for free or not, but I was counting his number. I'm like, okay, if this dude's in our gym at Highland, we're charging, if you know Twin Rivers, it's like, if you can get it per minute, it's different. Yeah. You can't get in the Roseville gyms, right? Without paying full price. Yeah. Twin Rivers, if you got the right connection, you can get in for the right price. Trust me, I know because I use it sometimes.
Right.
Okay. So I tell them, like, if Charles Baldwin's charging $300 to pop a team right now, he's got 40 teams. And back then, if you remember, all the AEU nationals or qualifiers was Charles Baldwin's.
Yes, I remember.
So he had every gym in Sacramento locked up. So I was counting the number. He's got 100 teams in here at $300. And we let him in here for $350 for the weekend. and my kid can't get him to get just a watch. Shut the whole thing down. Shut it down. We shut Charles Baldwin down for about 5 months. I couldn't get in the Highlands anymore. My principal was pissed because he wasn't doing the number. I go, that's kind of shame on you.
Right.
And the athletic director was just getting like the boys program was just getting something.
Yeah.
The girls weren't getting anything. The
like,
boys were getting like $300. I go, so we had a meeting at the principal's office. Boom. With the principal, me, Charles Baldwin, AD, the boys go, and I did the number. I threw it in his face. I was like, this is what they're doing for AU. I didn't know, and I didn't know anything about AU right now. I didn't know the money that goes with it. I didn't know the tournament fees. I didn't know.
You just did the.
I just mad because they didn't let my girl in the gym.
Yeah.
So I look at the numbers. So Charles Baldwin like, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna let all your teams in for free, and plus we'll give you $600 each team for every time we run one. I go, I don't want your tournament in for free. Give me the money. I decide if I want to play there or not. But what you will do, whenever a Highlands kid want to come into their own gym, and we're making Oak Ridge kids better, we're making Roseville kids better, we're making kids from Granite Bay better that can afford this.
You let my kid in.
They can at least watch. Shut it down. So he did this deal, and like I think 3 years later, I'm at Allen High School. So that's how this whole AU thing. I started to know about the Highland AU and stuff like that. But that my whole thing with Highland, like I was always the battle for kids that couldn't afford it. So I am still a kid that sponsored kids, but my program has kind of grown away from really reaching out to those true inner city kid. And I'm kind of like don't know how to get it back to that a little bit, because you've grown into this animal now.
It's hard to find that balance.
It really is. It bugs me, but I kind of have to live with it.
That what helped get you to that?
So also, I'm sorry. So that was what I was getting to. Yeah, my bad. So then when I had my very first team, I had those girls, Brittany Shine, Sarah James, and all them. So we were instantly successful. So we came out the box like smashing people, and I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
But what I did was because my girls from Highlands couldn't travel. So we came out the box. I didn't know anything about teams. I didn't know about organizations. I didn't know anything. I knew like one of the things you had to go to back in the day was the Oregon Trails tournament. Mm-hmm. We go out to the Oregon Trails tournament, and probably our first game, we win by like 40.
Nice.
First year, okay? First tournament, first year. We win by 40. We played the next team, we win by 30. We played the next team, and there's about, maybe I bullshit you not, maybe about 90 coaches at a game. And I'm like, they ain't here for us. Cause we got this big ass Just Believe Sport. That was our uniform our first year. Just Believe Sport is my whole Just Believe. And so the Just Believe Sports come from because when I was playing over there, if you know anything about Philippines, a lot of uniform companies.
Yes.
And I decided I'm gonna start a uniform company while I'm playing.
Yeah, they hit my Instagram up all the time.
Boom. So my uniform company, because of that fly back home, Just Believe, it's got to be something sports. Okay, that's where JBS comes from. So the next game, I'm telling you, we're playing Philadelphia Rise. I don't know anything about teams. I don't know nobody, nothing. I get there, and 90 coaches there, smacked them. We had a girl named Amanda Johnson, 6'1", girl, 6'2", out of Santa Rosa, Filipina dog. Her dad had called me and said, hey, I heard you might be doing an AU team. I go, shit, is she coming? We got one now. And then I had Brittany Shine, who was my dog. Her mom and I grew up together. A few other pieces. And it was just like, they was just dogs. What it was a team that was actually funny, believe it or not. There was a team that was out in Placer. He had a team called the Miners, Go Miners or something like that. Yeah. It was a known AAU team in Sacramento. It was a minor, but it was based out of Placer, Placer High School, the team we ended up beating. Well, they kind of collapsed. You know Jurgles? You know the Jurgles, the referees?
Yes.
The two brothers? Their Mike, dad, Charles Jurgle, had a team. He passed away a few years back. His dad had a team called the Miners at Golden Nuggets or something like that. Yeah. And he kind of introduced me to this whole thing. And one day, one year, I took Candace, my girl from Highlands, to join his team, and I went to Oregon Trails and I saw this. My first AU game I saw that I thought Candace was a dog. She's a dog. I love this girl. Now she's she's a sergeant or a police officer in Atlanta, Georgia. And my girl Cassandra, the white girl I was telling you about, their mom kind of used to kick her out the house. She's a superintendent in Florida. Wow. Like they're both are amazing success story. Like today, again, I'm always searching those dreams to impact kids like that. Well, I go to Oregon Trails. A friend of mine who was one of my coaches at the one time, she was coaching at Sac State when they went D1. So I went. I'm gonna watch. Candace is playing with the. I flew Candace there. Her and I. She's playing with this Nuggets team from Placer. First time I'm seeing AU tournaments. And I'm sitting in the stands at the old Oregon Trails gym. And the first game I'm watching is this girl coming down the court, boom, shooting threes. I'm like, damn. Sitting next to me, Pat Simon, Gino Ariami, all these college coaches that I've seen on TV, but I don't really know the girls' game like that. I'm still just like, oh, wow, that's cool. Because back then, there was no section for coaches. Everybody sat with each other, right? Back in the school, back in the day. So you got UCLA coaches. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Watching this, I'm like, damn, it's nice. Looking at her like, but she ain't Candace. Candace better than her. Okay, I'm like, ooh, wait a minute. Damn, deep three. I'm like, damn. So now I'm a fan. Right. I'm watching this game. I'm going to tell you who his name is in a second. And then now I'm all tripping. Oh, my God. I'm hitting Pat Summit. Did you see that? Oh, my God. Did you see this? Oh, my God, Gino. Right. Like, girl throwing no little pass. Boom. Pulled up. I'm like, oh, my God. Candace, you ain't this girl, man. I'm like, I'll tell you, you my dog. But this girl, I don't know who this girl is. And they were like, and my friend who's sitting with me, like, would you settle down? And I'm obnoxious. Like, when I'm in my girl, please, I'm making money. I'm on break from the Philippines. I'm just kicking it. Diana Taurasi.
Oh, go figure.
Diana Taurasi. I don't know who Diana is, but she ain't no Candace Wilson. I left the gym. I was like, dang.
You're like, yeah, you're right. She ain't no Candace.
And I was like, okay, there's levels to this.
Yeah.
I got to get my kids better. Right. Because I thought Candace was a dog. She was a dog. Top 5 player in the city that year. But she went no down into Rossi. Yeah. And then there was some 6-footers out there that was shooting jumpers, playing like girl. I'm like, okay. So then when the next year, I actually have my own team. Right. Now, I still don't know teams. So we're playing at Philadelphia Phillies. Number 1, 2 team in Nike. I don't know this though. Right. I know they had a 6'6" girl out there. And I was like, my girls, I remember this. We're in the Oregon gym. We go there and so we were rolling. First 2 games we're rolling. Next game, we're about to play the Philadelphia Rods. They're phenomenal. They're still phenomenal. They're still a Nike team, EYBL team now. You know, this is before there was an EYBL team. Well, yeah. My girls come running out the gym. So Oregon Trail is a trip. You got a main court down here, another court in the corner, and then you got a court up top, right, in the main school. So at the new school. So my girls come running out the gym. They're like, Coach, oh my God, they got a 6'6" girl. Oh my God, they got a 6'5" girl. And I was like, I ain't playing, so y'all better figure it out. I'm like, what do y'all want me to do?
You don't want us playing.
I'm not playing. And I'm not gonna joke you, like I am like poker face, and I learned this as a player, as you know, you can never show fear. Yeah. Man, I purposely walked in the middle of the court when I walked in the gym. I purposely walked in front of all the coaches. They don't know who I am, A from Adam. They don't know anything about our program. We started off 30-12 on these fools. Nice. Balling.
That's good.
Every one of those kids got major D1 college.
That's great.
Amanda Johnson went to Oregon, being one of the greatest players of Oregon. Brittany Shine went to Florida. Sarah James went to Stanford. It was just every 9 kids on that team got D1 scholarships from that game. And then from then on, it was like, how do you get better? Right. Okay, how do you get better? And then it started to get to a place where we went from one team. We had one team, okay, that year. Then the next year, Brittany Shine and Sarah James were actually, we had juniors. We had 7 juniors that all went D1. Brittany Shine and Sarah James were freshmen, going to be freshmen. They were freshmen in high school. The next year, it was like we started getting people to want to come play with them. Right. And then we were highly successful that year. Brittany Shine, I mean, I don't know if you know about Sarah James. She's considered one of the greatest that ever played in Sacramento. Okay. She was an action. She was an All-American out of Oak Ridge.
Okay, nice.
came and played for us. And then the next year, that team, their junior team, we had one kid came to play from us out of San Jose. Another kid came from Bishop O'Dowd High School, Michaela Lyles, Ariel Thomas from McClatchy High School, and it was like every kid went Oregon, Cal, Stanford, Pittsburgh, Florida, Seattle University.
So you were just creating this.
It was just a fire.
Little by little. Yeah,
it was just a fire. The next year we went from one team, then it went to 3 teams. And we were still highly successful. Then it went from 3 teams. Then we started getting people to want to join us. Like, can we bring our whole team over and join you? Then we went from 3 teams to like 5 teams. Then it was 6 teams.
Right.
Now, the team that put us on the map was, I don't know if you heard of Gigi Garcia. Aaron Garcia is the athletic director at Capital Christian High School.
Yeah,
their son played there last year, and he's now the quarterback at San Jose State. Well, Gigi Garcia's team was the team that eventually we were having so much. We were having a level of success in regular tournaments, like at Oregon Trail. We were making it always in the Final Four. We never won it. One year we made it to the finals. The year we were supposed to win it, Gigi Garcia ended up tearing the ACL in Oregon, and we were smoking teams. We were phenomenal. Everybody on that team signed major D1s, but we were having a level of success against known programs.
Right.
Like, not only success.
Yeah, but you're
smashing.
Yeah, making them look like a rec team.
I believe this wholeheartedly. A lot of people may not know the story, but we are one of the programs that made Nike start their circuit for the girls. So what used to happen was the guy who runs the Nike tournaments and the Nike tournament champions in Arizona, he would let certain teams come in that were independents.
Yeah.
Okay. So we had a team, JoJo Fasuetti and Sharice Holloway, and we had a girl named Manny. So crazy story. I call Josetta, her name is Josetta. I call her the Pied Piper. 6'3", and she's gonna watch this probably, and she will not get mad. She's about 325. Big mama. But Joe was a Pied Piper. I used to go, this is what I used to do. This is, people don't even know this. Joe lived in just outside of San Jose, almost by Stanford.
Yeah.
Every weekend, I would go pick up Joe on Friday, bring her to Sacramento. She practiced Saturday and Sunday. She stays with one of the teammates. Sunday, I drive her back to San Jose.
That's a 2.5 hour drive, 2.5 hour drive.
Back home.
Jeez. But see, that's the grind people don't know about.
They don't know about
that's
that.
the grind people don't know about.
They don't know about that.
They just see the final product.
They see that.
Think like,
every weekend, pick up Joe. And we have the best conversation driving back and forth. Miles on the college card, got rid of that card. I first year of my job as an administrator, I played my whole career and not have one injury. Not one injury. Playing pickup in the gym at Fernbacon Middle School, and I tore my patella tendon in June. I still got to pick up JoJo.
Yeah.
I would pick up JoJo, full leg in a sling, drive, pick her up. We come back, Sacramento, we practice, we go take her home. But bless JoJo's family, because they had a plate for me every time I got to San Jose. They had a food ready for me to go back home with.
That's nice.
Same thing with my girl, I can't think of her name right now, Peanut from Chico. I used to pick up Peanut. She just graduated from Cal Berkeley last year. She played at Colorado. Every Friday, I go pick up Peanut in right before you get to Chico. I can't think of the Live Oak, whatever it is. Pick her up. Mom meet me there. Drive her back to Sacramento. That was a grind. That team, every kid signed major D1s. But now these teams, going back to the Nike tournament champion, we would go to Chicago. We beat pretty much every top Nike team every year. And we was like embarrassing them.
But you were doing
but
this
I was
as
an independent,
right? Yeah,
I was an independent, just straight JBS. And we were just, again, we were a Sacramento program. So it was like we were just a big dog in the town. And we were, so going back to those kids, Josetta had clearly played with other teams before AAU.
Yeah.
Never felt right, never worked well. Ended up, dad called me, wanted to come play for JBS. Mandy Coleman, kid she graduated from Oklahoma State, being one of the greatest players ever in the history of Oklahoma State. Just graduated maybe 5-6 years ago. Manny Coleman actually played for a local program here. I don't even throw him under the bus, but one of our coaches that just kind of screamed at kids. Gets good production,
Right.
but he goes hard on kids. And he knows he has to change, but he's still out here.
Right.
Still got a program out there. Kid quit. She quit playing basketball her sophomore year. Done. Not going to play anymore. I found somebody, somehow knew them, got a hold of the dad, said, just come see us one day. She comes to JBS practice one day. Kid ended up graduating from Oklahoma State. She literally quit. Well, that team, Mandy was a 6'3" point guard. Okay. Like me, couldn't shoot to save her life.
Right.
Didn't want to shoot it. But she was 6'3", can handle the rock like magic.
Right.
Track star. Big like me, big body. A beast. Josetta, 6'3", 230, 350, whatever she was, shoots the three. So I had a vision, and I had Sharice Holloway, it was a Tongan girl, she was one of the first kids, roll her shorts up, and all she wanted to do was shoot threes. We good.
Right.
Mandy, you penetrate, do what you do. Josetta sitting out here wherever you need her. Sharice is going to shoot threes all day long. We thought outside the box. Well, we was knocking off every team. And then we go to one of the biggest tournaments. It's called the Battle of the Roses in Tennessee. Okay. So we go out there. So it's a good story. But we're going to Tennessee. And again, fear of failure, putting a lot of pressure on my kids. We get out there. We get on a delayed flight. We get to Tennessee like at 2 or 12 o'clock in the morning. I made a mistake. One of the few times I make a mistake.
One of the few times. I love that.
One of the few times I make a mistake. We get there at 12 night, let's say on the 22nd.
Yeah.
Like midnight 22nd. But I didn't book our hotel till the 23rd.
Oh, so you can't check in.
Can't check in. We're in Tennessee. We supposed to play like at 12 o'clock in the next day. It's a Bible Belt conference in Tennessee. Oh, ain't a hotel to be found. Bible Belt conference, plus the AU tournament, the biggest tournament of the year, the Rose of Roses.
I ain't got nothing for you right now.
Got nothing. Not a thing. And we're like, what?
Where'd you end up sleeping, in the airport? Or
No. So we searched. We got God works crazy, man. The place that we're supposed to stay at, the lady that was there, the manager of the hotel, the night staff, from Sacramento. Nice. So she's like, we gonna find y'all some baby girls. So I'm like, she gonna help us. And she's from Sacramento. Just crazy story. So we're trying to find a hotel. We're trying to look, can we be where we're at? We're looking to go downtown. And then, and at that time, I'm a small program. We're on a budget. Yeah. I didn't budget for another $7,000 or $1,000 a night for rooms at night, exactly. Plus parents, right? Yeah. I'm like, we're going to go across the street to the Waffle House. Y'all going to learn to love this because the Waffle House is the bomb out here. We go over there and we calling people, this lady calling people. We end up finding literally a hotel across the street from the gym we're about to play from the next morning. And they do give us a room something like $50 a night that night. Nice. It was insane. See? So the story is, though, the next day we're playing against one of Boo Williams' teams.
Oh, Boo Williams,
I don't know nothing about Boo Williams.
Yeah, he's an AAU guy.
Call me
the top team.
He is AAU.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Boo Williams, yeah.
He is AAU. Boo Williams is the godfather of AAU.
Like JJ Redick played for him. And there's
you look at Boo Williams, he started this whole thing.
Yeah.
Boo Williams started this whole AAU circuit, these whole AAU game. He is the man. I don't know anything about Boo and Williams. I'm like, who's Boo? And we go out there, we play, and I feel like we are tripping. And I know we could be a little jet lag, but I'm not making any excuses.
Right.
But I'm like, we tripping. And we're up by 12 points at halftime. And I'm going off on them. I disrespect me. I got us out here on Tennessee. And we ain't getting a hotel room. I don't care we didn't have a hotel room. Nobody cares. 150 coaches on the sideline. I don't know who they're here for. Yeah. They clearly ain't here for us because the way y'all playing, you look like a hot mess. Yeah, boom, boom. So we end up pulling the game out. It actually winning the game by 6-7 points.
Nice.
Win the game. And I go back. We're in the convention center in Tennessee, in Nashville. I go in the locker room. I mean, we're not in the locker room, we're in the hallway.
Yeah.
And I'm going over, I can't believe you embarrass me like that? You got one job. Your sponsor. You ain't even got to say a thank you. I don't want a card. I don't want a flower. I don't even want a cookie. You ain't got to give me nothing, but just play hard. Represent the program. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
I'm tripping, right? So I'm thinking they played bad.
Right.
But we won. I head out. I'm like, and so I do this famous, like, I'm out of here. And I leave my coach to talk to him from that. So I leave and I'm walking down the stairs. As I'm walking down the stairs, every D1 coach that was there, as you know, when you get on the circuit and coaches like what they see on your program, they start doing this.
Yeah. They start looking at you and you're like.
Try to get in your eyesight. Right. They're like,
hey, let me introduce myself.
Yeah, I'm like I know you didn't like that trash. I'm not them hot mess. And they're like, good game, coach.
Right.
Great job, coach. I'm like, what?
And you think to yourself, like,
good
whatever.
job, coach. I'm like, what the hell? Get down. I'm at the coffee shop by myself. I'm really mad. I'm not. I'm seriously upset. Get to the coffee shop. One coach comes to me, man, you like just beat the number 2 team in the country. I'm like, who? Who? She goes, well, that one kid signed with Georgetown already. That kid's going to SMU. That kid's going to Florida State. That kid already committed to Duke. I'm like, what? So now I'm like, oh, damn, I owe my girls an apology.
Oh, man, that's what's up, man.
That's how we start getting our name out there. We were just running through big dogs and we didn't even know it.
But
we didn't even know it. We didn't care what was on the uniform. Like, just do us.
That's always the
And then I was always able to think outside the box. No, when I walk in the gym with a 300-pound wing, everybody looking at us like, man, please.
Right.
Okay. Joe ain't wait till Joe put you on the spin move.
Right.
Joe was a beast. And then you like got a 6'3" point guard there. And now it was like, you couldn't put a big on her because she was too quick. And you couldn't put a small on her. We go post. So we was thinking outside the box, and coach was like, look, Josetta signed with Utah. Cherie signed with Arizona, and Maddie went to Oklahoma State.
Man,
and then our other kid ended up going to Hawaii, our other starter. Yeah. So it was just.
And through that progression,
people kept going, man, he keeps getting kids. And not only is he getting kids, they're developing. They're playing different. I was using mindset. When I really get it going with the older kids, we start running parts of the triangle. And college coaches love the triangle.
Yeah.
Although they will never run it because they're afraid of it.
Right.
But when they see it in motion in the club scene at the highest level, they love it.
Right.
So when a kid can do it in an AU scene, they're like, that's phenomenal.
Well, because you're teaching them the psychological part of the game, or their IQ, right? You're showing the IQ of the game. Because obviously, you talk to enough college coaches. I talk to enough college coaches. They know kids have athleticism, speed, all that stuff. I mean, there's certain boxes you have to check. There's no doubt about that. But when they can see a kid actually knows the game up top, that's what I think helps set them apart even more. I tell kids right now, at least for me, I say, if you want to stand out in this era in basketball, play defense.
Play defense.
Because everybody wants to be a scorer.
Play defense or rebound. Yeah. You're playing for me.
Yeah.
You can rebound the ball, you're playing for me.
Play defense and know the game. Really know the game. Study the game. Right. Not just watch the highlights, not just watching NBA highlights and all that stuff. Like, really understand and know the mechanics of the game. And it sounds like
100.
That's what you've been teaching.
So we learned the game. And so then, like I said, we never worried about the name of the uniform. We just kept upsetting a lot of really good teams. We were beating big dogs. New Jersey, I can't think of the name of the team. We were beating big dogs, and I didn't know who they were.
Right.
And I don't mind that, being oblivious to that.
Yeah.
Being naive to that. I was just showing up. We were just showing and playing. And so then one day we're playing in and there used to be a Adidas program called OC Elite, Orange County Elite. The guy, he's now a head coach at the Division II in Atlanta. He told the guy from Adidas, like, hey, you really need to check this guy out.
Yeah.
Like, his program is legit.
There's a guy in SAC doing his thing.
Yeah. And I will say this, we don't have the best working relationship. And that's the one thing I don't like about an AU. Because a lot of times the AU coaches feel like we really can't work together because we have to work against each other. And I tell a lot of coaches, and I'm telling you straight up, I tell a lot of coaches, West Coast Elite coach, CalStar coach, who else has kind of stepped on my toes? Coach Buck out there with NorCal Finance, now whatever they call it now. He used to be Peninsula Elite. I'll tell a lot of coaches, even with militant, when they were around, I was like, I swear to you, to the core of my heart, and I know we're like the big dog out here, but to the core of my heart, I'd rather work with you
Yes.
than against you. It's just not good energy.
Right. I agree.
But if I have to, I can go there. But I'd rather work with you than against you. In the AU scene, it feels like when people want to be your competitor, they have to somewhat try to work against you. And I don't think it has to be that way. And I'll promise you, I'll never speak bad about a program or a coach. I would always tell parents to use their own judgment to decide where their kid needs to be. I don't care what a club done to me or did against me or how they try to backdoor my players. I'm still not going to talk bad about you because that's just not good energy on my side.
Yeah.
But the competitive teams in NorCal that I know, and I don't know what it's like in LA, but then again, I've dealt with some situations when LA guys try to come in back doors with some kids. I'd rather work with you than against you, but I can go against you if I have to.
Right.
Because I got a chunk of money now from Adidas that kind of helps me to go, okay, at the end of the day, if a parent can say, I can play for free.
And that's always the biggest thing, right? Every parent wants to play for free. That's the wall I run into. Yeah. You
got to have some investment. Yeah. I make every kid have to put something up.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that too.
You have to.
That's what I always tell a lot of the programs. I can only imagine you get. I'm sure people might text you or call you, especially these young up and coming programs. They say, you got any tips for me? How do I get to be where you're at? And those type of things. And I get that to a degree, but I tell a lot of the young up and coming programs and stuff, at least, if they don't rub me the wrong way, I just tell them, I say, you have to get investment from parents early. And they got to have some skin in the game. You know what I mean?
Skin in the game.
They have to. Like, if you make it free, they'll bad weekend, they're gone. They dip.
Yep.
And it's really prevalent on the boy side. It's really prevalent.
And what I do, actually, in my trials, I make the parents pay for trials.
Yeah.
Like, if you decide to go somewhere, at least you pay, like, for our time. Like, I got 7, 8 coaches out there, and I do pay my coaches. I take care of my coaches. So, and I pay for all their travel and their hotel, and we stay nice and we do things right. But there's got to be an investment. So, but, like, everybody who does want free. Everybody wants free. But you got to be somewhat, put some in the pot a little bit, especially if you can.
Right.
And this is a crazy story. Some of my best kids, Athena Tomlinson, played for us from Fresno last year. Point guard, 5'6", 5'7" point guard, was absolutely incredible for my program. Came to us from Cal Stars. Again, they were not happy with what was going on. They ended up coming to us. And I even give you a story about Mary Carter, for that matter, who played for me in Antelope. But Athena Tomlinson could have wouldn't play for anybody in the country. Paid for every fee, every tournament fee, did not ask for one set of sponsorship. And she's going to Boston College.
Wow. Now that's rare.
Going to Boston College, ranked number 60 in the country. Sarah Jane, Stanford. Mom refused to take any sponsorship. Parents refused it. Nope, not doing it.
I ain't gonna lie. I always appreciate parents like that. Always.
They're different. When they understand, like, we have an investment. It's our kid. And at the end of the day, my kid just got a scholarship at Stanford, and she's now a nurse practitioner, living her best life ever.
And that's the ultimate part
because of the stage you can put her in
and
the way you're going to coach her.
We want our kids. We want these kids, especially, to just live a good life.
Madison Botcher, everybody knows Madison Botcher here. Played at Del Oro, one of the Sacramento legends. Great kid that just graduated the last couple of years. Now at Sac State. Could have played for anybody. Used to play for Tom Tran for a little bit. No, did you play for? Yeah, played with Tom Tran for a little bit. Yeah, and then they wanted to get on the bigger stage.
Right.
Parents refuse. Nope, absolutely not. We are not going to take. Everybody went after her. Everybody, Stars, Militant. Everybody went after Madison Botcher. Nope, we're committed to Sean. And we will not take free for it. Nope, not doing it. Still today, I get text messages from Madison's dad today. She just got a knee injury, so she's going to be out this year for Sac State. But she's on the team that just was the first team that went to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, that went to the tournament last year. Yeah.
Refused to be sponsored.
It's crazy.
and was the most incredible kid. She's one of my top 5 kids in the JBS ever. Just leader beyond leadership.
Let me ask you, if a kid, because I'm sure you dealt with this all these years, I've dealt with it too. If a kid was to leave your program for whatever reason and was still able to find success, do you truly feel proud of that kid and things like? Because I think AAU coaches, sometimes we get this misconception, like if a kid leaves, we want to see them fail, and it's like I don't, and I'm pretty sure you don't have that type of mentality. But do you still feel pride for that kid if you see them succeed, even from afar, from another club or whatever?
100. Even if I think my program is the best place for them, even if I still in my core know like this, you left a better situation, but I'm glad that it eventually worked out for you.
Yes.
I had Brooklyn Perry, kid out of St. Mary's High School, then she went to Folsom last year.
Oh yeah, I remember Brooklyn. Yeah, I remember.
Played with YB a little bit, right?
Yeah, she played with us a little bit.
Played all over, but she played with everybody.
Yeah.
Brooklyn come to JBS finally because it was one of those situations. I didn't go after Brooklyn. Matter of fact, Dad just texted me today.
Yeah.
Didn't go after Brooklyn. Brooklyn sought me out because they were like kind of burned bridges a little bit with different programs. Like, okay, they want to be on the stage. Had a phenomenal sophomore year with us. Decided like, okay, I want to try to play in the EYBL program. Goes out there, didn't pan out for them, and then decided they want to come back. But when she went, I was like, man, and when she went again, I was like, go do that. If that's what you feel, I wish you all the best.
Right.
Everybody knows she ended up tearing her ACL that following summer though. And but I've truly like Mary Carter. Everybody knows Mary Carter, player of the year 2 years in a row. Drama happened at Rockland High School. Mary Carter tried to go to 4 different schools before she ended up at Antelope High School. They tried to take her to Oak Ridge, tried to take her to Del Oro. They tried to take her to, it wasn't Whitney, I think Wood Creek. All those schools were impacted or wouldn't let her get in after the drama that happened at her high school at Rockland. Antelope was her last choice. Well, the deal was, when Mary was in the 8th grade, she played for JBS. 9th grade, she played for JBS, and then she left us to go play for Cal Stars.
Okay.
Right? Now, I felt, this is during COVID, things was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Now, I felt JBS was the best place for her, but when she went, I wish her the best of luck.
Of course.
And then, because I didn't have that I hate you mentality, how dare you leave us, she ends up in Antelope High School. How's that? Right? She ends up in Antelope High School, and we go win the section. We go to, her first year, we go to the state championship. We go to NorCal final.
And it's like, and I've been in that boat with plenty of the kids that left or whatever. You know, I think I'm the best place for them and the best
100.
advocate for
and
them.
We should. You have to.
Yeah.
If you're a legit coach, you got to feel like you're the best. But that don't mean it's always going to work out.
Right. And then.
But I'm not hating you afterwards.
Oh, yeah. Of course. And it's just, you know, there's some, and we know this, there's some programs, coaches that feel some type of way. And, you know,
absolutely.
I just, because you're here on the platform, I just wanted you to be able to sit and say your piece on it.
I'll be honest, it never feels good.
No.
It never feels good when your kid leaves you because you're like,
they
oh,
forget.
man.
I feel like parents sometimes forget we're human.
We're human. We're people.
Like and
with feelings.
What I always try to tell parents is, especially because I trained too and whatnot, I said, remember all those hours your kid was in the gym?
100.
Guess who was there with them?
100.
like I was there too. You know what I mean? So when you now all of a sudden say, you know, thanks, Chris, we appreciate it, but now we're here. Yeah.
I feel for me, why I deal with it the best is because of my professional career and in watching kids or teammates get traded sometimes, and you got to shift quick. It don't feel good, but you got to keep it pushing. Yeah. And like, you're right. Like, you know, when Mary Carter left, I was like, man, we had you since you were in 6th grade. Now you're going to Cal Stars, same like you're saying about the guys on the guys' side. Yeah. Go be great in Sacramento. Put Sacramento on the map. Why are we going to go help Cal Stars when they're getting kids from all over the country? Yeah. And then she would have been an amazing kid if she stayed with JBS. But she went to play Cal Stars and been a role player. But right now she's at Cal Poly, my alma mater, and I'm happy for her. But yeah, it never feels good when anybody leaves you. I don't even, and really, honestly, we know, I don't care if the kid don't even have any skills. Right. Because they become part of your family, part of your investment, part of your time, part of your commitment. But I'm sweet, I promise you, it hurts for a second, but
You got to move on.
I shift quick.
Because you get so
That ain't a
used
good
to it.
thing.
I guess you kind
I
of
don't
numb
know.
to it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Well, let me ask you this. Couple more questions before we get out of here. It's been a great show, so thanks
Yeah,
for
I know. You
bearing
didn't
with
know
me.
you realized I was going to talk so much,
And,
nor did I. I really didn't know how you were
No,
talking about. You said
no,
it's going to be 2 hours. I'm like, this is impossible.
This is a long. No, I
didn't-
love this
I
format.
had no idea this was going to be
I'm trying
2
to be
hours.
Joe Rogan one day, man.
Yeah,
Not
man.
want to be the Joe Rogan of AAU.
Legit, right? Legit. I'm impressed. And I know
from your perspective,
Yep.
as someone who is a 3SSB program,
Yep.
the only one really in Sacramento.
Only one in NorCal.
If you're taking a lens on the boy side, and I know I know you're not in it, but you know the landscape.
But I know it, right?
What do you think we're missing, or what's the piece we're missing to really get a true? Because obviously PHPS and myself,
Right.
and I say myself, not YBA, because they gave me they don't. When Dom and those guys and Justin and them came to me, they were like, Chris, we want you and your teams. We don't want the whole organization, because YBA is still a Nike affiliate, right? So, that's why if you look distinctly, the way it works with me, my teams are YBA Elite Rise. And then when you go to high school, we call it Team Rise, right? And that's because we had to change the name because, we can't be a Nike program with
Zero.
Adidas. So, but again, we're not 3SSB trying to fight to get there. I know PHPS is. I think there's Team Sacramento. They're another 3SGB team.
Like at a certain age group, though, right? He doesn't have the 17.
No.
Ryan's doing it with kind of worked it out with Phil Handy somehow.
Yeah.
And so the boys' game, man. I mean, the girls' game is getting a little like you got to kind of watch your back a little bit. You got to know who's calling shots. And it was trying to be moving and shaking because there is becoming more money involved.
Right.
The boy is a dog-eat-dog world game. And it's, for you guys, you have to be really special in what you do and how you maintain your kids and how you got so many different elements that we do. Once you make a kid legit and the kid becomes like a top 10, a top 20, top 50 kid in the country, how do you hold him if he's not already part of a 3SSB program or an EYBL team?
Right. Because they can throw free. They can throw gear at these kids. I lost 4 or 5 of my top 16 studs from this area that I had been coaching since like 4th, 5th grade to Jalen Green Elite.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I understand that's a part of the game, but still sucks.
So how do you also get your foot or in the door when, let's say, there's been some kind of relationship between Ryan and Phil Handy?
Yeah.
Phil Handy's got a voice. He's not really an Adidas guy, but he has a voice because he's a Lakers assistant coach, player development coach.
Of course.
He's got a voice. Phil's my guy. And Phil and I used to play together in the San Francisco program together. So he's got people's voices. The girls' game is still not like that where you have to be somewhat affiliated with a name, Jalen Green or Phil Handy or
Team Lillard.
CP3, right? They're all kind of put their names on some programs. So they're giving slots because of that, because of the NBA guys' names on it.
I just feel Sacramento deserves one.
Sacramento
at least one, because they pull from our kids so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like these kids go down take that 2-3 hour drive to the Bay.
Ridiculous.
And I'm like, the kids that went to Jalen Green, they're driving down to Fresno.
Ridiculous.
You know what I mean? And it's like,
ridiculous.
Do y'all not get if we just,
because we got
for 1 or 2 years said, hey, we're gonna bond, stick together, we're gonna put ourselves on the maps. People will come and notice, but I guess that's just, I don't know. That's
so
a pipe
on the
dream,
boys' side, you would probably have to get somebody that's going to really finance it, where they're going to say, okay, can we keep you guys all here? And now you're getting tricky with the whole NIL stuff. Like people are trying to pay the girls already in high school. And I know in the boys it's even a different monster because there's so much more money in the boys' game.
Yeah.
And a potential like Jalen Green. If Jalen Green turns out to be who he is, he's going to be Jalen Green. He's got an NBA contract with a lot of sponsorship and money behind it now. Jalen Green was a prolific prep just 3 years ago, 4 years ago, or he was at San Juan King Memorial before that, right? So it's just, in order for us to really get Sacramento to get a team, somebody's going to have to really get buy-in from the elite level kid. Honestly, even that wouldn't work. I was going to say, I would even like, you take some of those kids that were at Sac High, some of those kids I personally know come from struggling backgrounds. If you can get those kids to commit and stick around, then you may be able to do it with just straight, like, street kids that don't have too many options. But the problem is, kid gets legit,
he's out.
There's sponsorship with Lillard. There's soldiers. There's
just it's a tough, and you know, I talk about it on the show, and you know, it's funny because some people don't like that I'm so candid about this shit, but I just don't care. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, this is my platform, so I'm like, I'm going to speak on it. And I want something for Sacramento for the boy side. You know, I at least, even if it wasn't me, I wanted to be somebody. But, you know, for me, I'm like, why not me? You know what I mean?
100.
Why not? Like, you know, why not YBA? Why not Team Rise? Like, you know, and I'm not going to stop fighting for that.
No,
you know?
100.
But,
you got to have a plan.
Yeah, but
I did all that without a plan, but now I understand.
Yeah,
I got to have a plan. Yeah,
I think I got two more. Yeah, two
But
more.
yeah, you got to find a way to just got to get kids to be like all in, man. Like, man, we and that's going to be rare at this time and age for the boys and for the girls. Like, I'm like you know, like I said, Liv is legit now. Nina Kane is legit now, and like, sure, people have called them. People probably not Liv, but mostly Nina, and now they're like, why would I leave? Because I got here with this. That don't happen on the boys' side.
Right.
Right. And you got to do your part in making sure that they're getting their offers. You got to do your part where you're reaching out and advocating for them. But for the girls' side, you just want parents trust you and they buy into what you do. Like Dixie, I can't even say Dixie McClanahan. I can't even say her last name right. But Dixie out of Folsom High School plays for me. Like, a lot of people didn't have a vision on her like I did.
Yeah.
Kid had an amazing summer. They're going nowhere. I can tell you that.
That's it.
They're going nowhere, no matter who comes at them now, you know?
That's good.
So I got, which is rare, this next year, my core 8 kids are coming back from last year's top team. We're a problem.
Yeah.
So I don't need to go out and get kids next year. I had a vision like, okay, how am I going to make this? Because we're all going into the contract year next year. So you want to come out with a bang that year when you come out to end of your contract year, because we all got signed a 3-year deal.
Yeah,
and then it's all game open again. Now, I'll tell you right now, the one thing I don't like about the club scene with the AU scene with the 3SSB is that I do have somebody else making decisions that can affect my program, whether they think I'd still deserve 3SSB or not.
Yeah.
I don't like that. When I was an independent, I was like, we are who we are.
Yeah.
And we'll see anybody and everybody.
Right. I agree.
The only thing with the circuit did is like kind of made it exclusive who you can play.
Yes.
And now I have somebody else who's a good dude. I know you probably should have met Mike Barnett already, who's in charge of Adidas.
I have.
Mike's a good dude. He has good intentions. But at the end of the day, they're deciding in December next year who still stays and who goes.
Right.
I'm not so.
Yeah, no, I don't like that either. Yeah.
Because I'm still in the gym on Saturdays and Sundays and grinding on Thursday nights now with my little baby because I have to have practice on Thursday nights. But I'm in the gym.
Yeah.
I'm there. So now at the end of the day, you're going to decide like if we're 3SSB or not. And then I got to make sure at the end of the day, if that does or does not happen, do I have enough buy-in from my parents that we are legit? Like, you wouldn't want to leave this. And that's what you get on the girl side. Like, I got 8th graders right now. I know no matter what, they're going to rock with us no matter where we go.
Yeah.
No matter what. And they're legit.
Right. That's good. And like you said, you got the buy-in early.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think about the NIL deals and whatnot on the girl side? Like, obviously, last year, I think I mentioned it. Well, you talked a little bit about before the show with like Angel Reese and what the girl side has accomplished in the collegiate side. Obviously, I think there's kind of a trickle down effect where now you know women's basketball for sure, college and down is more on the forefront.
I think some programs, as I'm hearing, some club programs in LA and certain areas are trying to put money in kids' hands and pockets early right now. I think right now I'm all for it, but I think we just got to figure it out how they do it and how it works, because I think the beginning stage of it right now, as it's trying to be trickled down to this level, the AU scene, is going to get ugly.
Yeah.
People are going to be making promises to certain kids. And this is sports.
Yeah.
When you start making promises, you got to hold up to it. And I got a roster of 12 kids. Somebody's bubble is going to get busted.
Right.
Right. And typically, I usually keep about 9 kids or 8 kids on my roster right now because I know a couple kids, bubbles are going to get busted that might fit for what we do.
Exactly.
And that's going to happen.
Well, and like, it's tough because my fear is, and I talked about it on some previous shows, is, you now have a lot of kids with a lot of money, just walking around basically. You know what I mean? Like that's why they said Angel couldn't go to school anymore. You know what I mean? Because now you essentially have millionaires walking around college campuses. Imagine if you've been to USC, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
and
oh, yeah.
A couple blocks.
Oh yeah,
off of that campus,
it gets thick.
Now imagine you got
William Watts.
Yeah, imagine you got that millionaire going to USC. And unfortunately, you can't deny the elements that are out there. You know what I mean? How do we maneuver this? So these are type of things, nuances.
Well, I'll even add to that. Like you probably don't know, I have a daughter. My daughter went to LSU last year, the year before last.
Okay.
So I've been to Baton Rouge. I've been to LSU.
Yeah.
You don't want to leave campus,
right?
My daughter came back home. Now she's at Cal State Monterey Bay. I sleep a little easier at night.
Right.
Like LSU losing, it ain't no joke, man.
That's what I'm saying.
It is not no joke. And so you're talking about Angel Reese walking around. People opportunities.
Yeah.
If I get an opportunity to come up on, they're going to come up. And same like you're saying with USC, these guys are getting crazy amount of money. You look what happened at Colorado with the football players from Colorado that got robbed at the UCLA stadium.
That's insane.
But I can't really speak on the NIL deal because I don't really know enough about it and how it's trickling down more to the AU. But I will tell you this. I need to learn about it because I would never want to lose a kid because of an opportunity we could have provided for them. But I thought about this on my flight back from the Philippines. At the end of the day, those kids, your top kids that are getting sponsored, sponsorship is probably worth between $3,500 to $5,000 per kid.
Right.
Is that not an NIL deal? Is that not, other than seeing the actual money in your hand? Is that not basically
exactly what that is?
When you talk about your flight, your hotels, your club fees, your uniforms, your gear, you're talking about, for those top kids, it's about $3,500 per kid.
And it's and you want more? You know what I mean? Like capitalism at its best, I guess.
But that is basically an NIL deal. Yeah. Basically, you are not paying a dime.
Right.
For your very top kids.
Yeah, I agree. Got a hot take.
Okay.
So now that we're rolling into high school season.
Yes, sir.
And you have a unique perspective because you are a high school coach and heavily involved in AAU.
Yes.
That's why I wanted to ask you specifically this question. I've observed, because I've worked at high schools. I worked at Whitney. I worked at Encina. I worked at Oakmont. I was JV freshman, whatnot. Shout out to Matt Johnson. I was going to do Shack High until all that went down. But, I always, in my opinion, in observing the landscape, there's this weird tension between, not every high school coach. I want to say, if I'm being honest, the high school coaches that I would say around my age, because I'm 40, right? So I would say the high school coaches that are between my age of 35, 40, whatever, they understand how AAU can help their kids.
Right.
It can actually do a lot of work they don't have to do. So they like to work with AAU coaches. Like I brought up Coach Holloway at Bandit. Me and him worked. He's sent me kids from Bandit. Coach
sent his daughter to us this year.
See, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he had Coach Clark at Ponderosa. He sent me kids. You know what I mean? And I have great relationships with these guys. But there still seems to be a weird tension in the air of AAU coaches, directors versus high school varsity coaches. You know what I mean?
100.
It's just this weird, and I'm just curious your perspective because you're in both worlds. You know what I mean?
Both worlds, and I think this is where it gets pretty interesting to me. So I have this weird balance when it comes to some of the high school coaches, and part of my success with the club, I have a great working relationship with the high school coach because I tell kids first and foremost, and their high school coaches, I am a high school coach first.
Yeah.
I do the club as my hobby. So I'm not ever taking away, I'm never making a kid miss a practice with you or choose us over anything you're going to do as a high school team. Like this summer, pretty much the month of June, which is a big month for high school, but also a preparation month for getting on the circuit before we hit July.
Absolutely.
I probably saw my top dog kids maybe once or twice in June, and I wasn't tripping.
Right.
And the coaches respect that because you could try to put your hand down like, look, we're about to go play in front of 1,000 coaches. You're playing at, I don't know, God knows what summer league tournament that's going on right now with nobody there. And I need you to be the best you can be in front of these college coaches if you want to play the next. You can push that hammer. I don't do that.
Yeah.
So
you respect what they're.
I respect their space and their time. Now, do I want them out there when they? Absolutely, but I respect, and I'll tell this to the high school coaches too. If you want, let me know your schedule, and I'll work around it. We need to have them at, let me know when and where. Now, working with them on their practice time and not like colliding with them and creating tensions with them. For the people that know, okay, we are a great relationship. You look at my kids from Oak Ridge, we're great. We're fine. We're great. Now, the coaches that don't really understand the club scene believe that, and it does. Let me say this right. They believe the success at Antelope is only truly based because of JBS. And they think JBS kids end up at Antelope, which you go down the roster at Antelope, my kids are all from Antelope Crossing Middle School. Now, are they in my program? Yes. Are they getting better because they stay with my program? Yes. Guess who doesn't miss practice in June? It's the Antelope kids because I'm controlling Antelope practice and I'm controlling JBS practice. So my Antelope kids don't miss nothing.
Yeah.
So, they're going to continue to get better. But a lot of the one to like kind of take, now so that's the funny world I'm in. You have the club haters that kind of want to take you down because you're the big dog in town.
Yeah.
And for the most part, like I said, I'd rather work with you than against you. But if you cross the line, I have no problem going gloves off. We can get down.
You go low, I go low.
I can go low. I choose not to because I don't at the end of the day.
Right.
My mama told me to be a good dude. Right. I've gone there, I've done it. Like, okay, you want to go out there being one of my kids? I'll show you how we can do this and how I'll show you how to work. So I have the club haters that I try to work with, but then you have those high schools that think you're only successful because of JBS. But they don't understand, again, where I started from Highlands, from ground zero. I started at Antelope when it was dirt, right? I've been the only girls high school coach at Antelope. We were dirt. Yeah. So I started at Antelope as a JV coach. We were terrible for the first 4 years. And I remember telling Becker, I was arrogant. I said, give me 2 to 3 years and we're going to be a monster. Okay, so it took 5 years. My bad. I miscalculated, dog. But what I have done now at Antelope is I have set a standard of how we do things, and now it runs itself. Like, I'm in practice this week, and it seems like we're in mid-season form already. We just had tryouts, technically.
Yeah.
So the high school coaches that don't understand how I separate both of them, I get the hate from them.
Yeah.
Because we've been so good for the last 12, 13, 14 years now. But for me, now I do know this. Other high school coaches and club programs, they have problems.
Yeah.
They have a lot of problems. And I think, honestly, the AU coaches have to maintain where their real position in their places are. Like, we have good basketball in Sacramento, so our coaches are really committed on both sides, girls' sides and both sides. Like, even when I first started, that was the first thing I noticed when I first started the club scene in the Super 60, like, running a showcase here. I'm like, we have coaches that are committed. Like, and when I first started programs, you guys don't even, for the girls' side, you don't even know what's good. Like, when I first came in, it was Bear River High School was a monster.
Okay.
I couldn't beat Bear River for nothing.
Right.
Programs that's in the dirt right now. El Camino could not beat. El Camino was the top dog, NorCal finalist every year. Mariloma. These teams can't even win a game right now, you know? These were the top dogs when I first came in. Sac High girls. They went, you know?
Right.
Kennedy High School. These were the top dogs, and now they went,
Yeah.
they went elsewhere. But when I first came into the game, the girls' game, I was like, man, coaches are playing summer league, they're playing fall league, they're playing spring league.
Like you said, they're dedicated.
They were dedicated. I'm like, this is amazing. So I had to catch up. But a lot of the people now, they don't understand how some of us maintain our success. They think it's because we get kids transferred or we do things not right or whatever. But it's like we grind. Yeah. But we grind at the beginning, so now it takes care of itself.
The infinite game.
The infinite game.
Just keep
Man,
going.
I'm gonna use my line right. I'm gonna put that on my uniform. I'm gonna take that at Package JBS. I'm gonna steal that. You don't mind?
No, all right, please do. Best coach is steal.
I'm gonna put that literally in the back of our next uniform.
The infinite game, man.
Infinite game.
Just keep going. Like that's what I tell my kids. Just keep going. I mean, no, that's cool. I think it's about relationships.
It's a balance, yeah. You gotta have a balance, man. And then both coaches, get your egos out of the way, because at the end of the day, we want the best for the kid.
Exactly. I always tell because I've had parents ask me, if we don't do high school, can we? I said no. Let's not even go that route. Like
I heard that before.
You need both sides. You need both sides. Both sides have value. Both sides teach both.
I got one for you. So I don't know where'd you go to high school at?
Oakland Tech.
Mm-hmm. And then. So the Roseville Middle School League out here?
Yes, yeah.
Kids can't play AU.
Can't play AU during. It's affecting my 7th, 8th grade group right now. I got a bunch of kids at Antelope Crossing.
Right.
Funny enough, yeah.
Are you kidding me right now? Right. Come on. Like really?
I think it's a dumb. As far as I know, I think we're the only people because I've asked people in other states and even in the Bay, and I was like, "Have y'all ever heard of this?" They go, "No."
Most asinine rule in the history of it. I run the league, the middle school league in Sac City.
I'm curious. Do you know the history of where this came from? Because I literally don't know where it came from. I was trying to find out.
Don't care, but I've been dealing with it for the last 17 years since I've been in Antelope High School. Because when my kids are coming up, like even my Janiyah Harrell, even my stars that were at Antelope Crossing, I had to miss them for their season while they're at Antelope Crossing. Yeah. Well, just asinine, stupid rule in the world. But I've had those kids at one point go, we just won't play middle school basketball. And I have to go, okay, now I'm the jerk. You can't do that. No.
I tell my kids that too.
It looks crazy.
Because I also say, you're going to go to high school with some of these kids. Like, and I try to tell my boys, I'm like, ultimately, it's okay. It sucks because we're going to probably miss some stuff. You're going to come back with some bad habits. I know that. You're going to come back rusty. But I said, but the cool part, it gives you all an opportunity to be your LeBron James, your Stephen
100.
Curry. You can be the man because I know you're probably the best kid at your school. So go enjoy your 6 weeks, enjoy your break. Be honest, I probably could use a break. And then it's like, come back, I'll see you guys later.
Well, I'll add one to that. So what I tell my students, this is going to be the first time you're going to actually do school and basketball and academics all at the same time.
Yes.
When your first time before you get to high school, it all goes together.
That is.
Because you've just been doing club stuff. Now, I never checked your grades while you were playing in 6th grade. I never asked for your report card or your behavior record. So now this is the first time that all goes together. You have to balance it. Yep. You have to start balancing it out. So I've had plenty of like, you should quit. Nah, you don't quit. Don't quit. Man, but it's the dumbest rule. But
I don't know I don't know. I don't care either. Like you said, I just think it's like, why we do that? Whatever.
Yeah, but keep playing. Play the middle school year. 2 months. It is a long time, and you're right. A lot of times the kids come back a step slow. They missed a beat, and you got to catch up. Yeah. Those kids, like my league in Sac City Unified, we don't have that rule. Right. You can play all long as you want to. So those kids are going to keep playing.
Because I have some Sac kids that so some of my 7th graders are Sacramento kids, but obviously they're 7th grade team. Majority of them are out here, so they're shut down. Yep. So I've been playing them up with my 8th grade. Yep. And so, because half my 8th grade is Sacramento kids, so I kind of have this weird mixture team. Yeah. But I've said, you guys are going to get the benefit of playing up
100
for the next 6 weeks, 7 weeks. So that way, when all your teammates come back, you guys will probably be better than them right now. Right. So, there's ways to, I guess, maneuver around this, but
maybe I need to spread my JBS 7th grade team. They're gonna be a mess. They're all from Roseville. They're all about to be gone. But I might be able to mix them up with some more Sac Sal kids.
Nah, real talk. Let me get it's my outro music.
Okay.
No, I appreciate you coming here, man.
That was good, man.
I
We've been trying to
appreciate
set
you
it up for a while.
talking. I know.
I talk a lot, man. You
No,
get me going.
you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
This is what trust me, you did exactly what the idea what the show was. I'm going to have a lot of good clips I can put out on YouTube.
Yeah.
I got, because the Bobby Jackson episode I just did.
I watched that whole thing today.
Yeah, did you like that?
Yeah,
It was
fire.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. And that was, funny enough, that was the day before he was leaving for Philly.
Okay.
We finally linked up, and he was like, Chris, I'm going to come through. I'm going to sit down and talk with you for at least an hour.
Cool.
Let's talk.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah,
That was good.
Did you have any quick shout outs or anything
man.
you want to get?
So what made you put this all together? What was your thrive to this?
Honestly, if you want to know the truth, I was a fan of Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson's podcast, All the Smoke, and other podcasts, because I work at UPS. That's my actual job.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and so I'm always listening to podcasts when I'm at the hub, and I was like, we have a lot of people talking to the high end.
Yeah.
Right, the Stephen A's, JJ Redick's, they all got their podcast. Draymond Green, they talk to the high end, but there's this big gap of in between where we don't talk to the kids as they're up and coming. Again, let's say Andre Stojakovic makes it to the league.
Sure.
I was able to have a sit down with him before any of that happened. You know what I mean? And I don't think there was enough AAU podcasts really explaining how this works, what to look for.
Consistency.
Yeah, I don't think giving coaches like yourself a platform, because a lot of people don't know your guys' history. They see, like you said, the guy on the outside. They see the small 5% of you. They don't get to sit down and really hear where you come from, because I think this humanizes us.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's honestly where it came from. It was just wanting to create a voice for everybody.
No, this is fire, man.
Thank you.
This is real good.
I appreciate it.
I'm glad I finally got it to do it.
Me too.
We've been talking about it for about a year or so.
I know.
now.
That's what I'm saying. And shout out to all the high school kids. Your high school season starting. Good luck to you, coach.
Good luck this year.
And everybody have a good season. I will have links for coach. Go follow him, please. Go check his program out. If you're ever in Hardwood and you see, like you said, the orange and gray, and go watch him and see his journey. Again, if you made it all the way to the end, you're a real one. Do the HBO special again. Hit that like, subscribe, help a brother out. Be safe. Take care out there in that basketball community, and peace.
Yeah, I'm gonna push this out to the Philippine community. This is gonna go viral.
Oh, that'd be perfect.